Welcome to day 2 of the Esports Racing World Cup 2 on rFactor 2. Let's head over to commentator number 2 to find out what we're in store for today. Catch!
I think we're actually in for plenty of drama. It's what we had yesterday. I think we're going to be in for a bit of touring car madness.
Well, hello everyone and welcome back. It was a blockbuster day 1 to start off the Esports Racing World Cup, and after a tumultuous showdown, the Unicorns of Love proved why they are the best on Assetto Corsa Competizione. We switch gears though. We venture on over to rFactor 2, and it's time to get the action started once again. 12 teams will do battle, and to do that we need to bring our commentators in. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, but it's going to be Lewis McLeod and Luke Crane taking you through all of the action here today.
Welcome to day 2 of the Esports Racing World Cup 2 on rFactor 2. Let's head over to commentator number 2 to find out what we're in store for today. Catch!
I think we're actually in for plenty of drama. It's what we had yesterday. I think we're going to be in for a bit of touring car madness.
Well, day 2 here for ERWC II on rFactor 2. It's take 2 as well. Let's get ready to go. Let's not dawdle around too much longer. My name is Arjuna Kenkupati. You know the drill, alongside with Luke Crane and Lewis McLeod. Lewis, let's talk very quickly about day number 1 yesterday and what an exciting but tumultuous showdown we had.
Yeah, it ended with a bit too much drama in that third and final race. But to be fair, we were talking about this, the actual day itself, what we had in the heats, the quarters, the semis, and then the finals before we got, and even the first 2 races of the showdown, to be honest, actually pretty exciting. Had a great day.
Luke, in your opinion, though, as we head now to a very different car and a very different track as well, who do you think is looking good here on rFactor 2?
I think Veloce, YAS HEAT, they've got a couple of superstars in the touring car world, but you just got to look at the usual suspects, right? The likes of RHE, the likes of Team Redline. I think Williams is going to be in and amongst it. I think this really does suit Burst as well, I think, and Triton as well. So, to be honest, it's not as open as ACC, but there's still plenty of teams that could really have an impact today.
Well, if you missed yesterday and you missed 2022, we're here at the end of the journey that was the Esports Racing League. 33 teams whittled down to the best 12 across 3 different simulators. Let's check out what they're fighting for. Slightly unique, something different we're glad to do. Unfortunately not able to give those belts to the drivers in person, but Lewis has got one next to him, and one is not far away from Luke Crane as well. It's not just the physical prizes, though. There's some cash prizes on the line as well. $50,000 paid out across of the 3 different days. Our winners on each day walk away with $2,500, and our champions rather of the Esports Racing World Cup walk away with $10,000 to share amongst them. We mentioned earlier 12 teams. If you missed yesterday's action, let's show you who those teams are. These are the teams, the best 12 from the Esports Racing League, the likes of Redline, BS+COMPETITION, RAG, and Apex, of course, one of our standouts, the Unicorns of Love winners on day number 1. We've got a slightly unique format this year compared to what we had in 2022. Let's check out a little bit more about that.
The VCO Esports Racing World Cup features 12 of the best teams in sim racing, bringing 5 drivers each to total 60 drivers. Over 3 days of competition, they'll race on 3 platforms, all for 1 title. Each day will begin in the heats, where all 12 teams will compete. The top 6 move through into the quarterfinal upper bracket, and the bottom 6 will move through into the quarterfinal lower bracket. From this, the quarterfinal upper bracket, 3 teams will automatically transfer into the final. The bottom 3 teams will move into the semi-finals. Into the quarterfinal lower bracket, teams will fight for survival, 3 progressing through into the semi-finals and 3 being eliminated. The semi-final will see 6 of the last 9 remaining teams battle it out to be in the top 3 to move through into the final. In the final, the last 6 teams will fight it out to be in the top 2 spots who will move through into the showdown. This is where things will change as combat moves to one team against another in a best of 3 showdown for the day's top honours. Wow, I mean, it's a pretty impressive format, and we got plenty of drama for it yesterday, and I think we're going to be in for very much the same. Today, obviously, we're racing in the Infinity Q50, and the fans have already voted on what circuit. We were between the Interlagos, of course, in Brazil, and we're also between the Sakir International Circuit and going around the outside of the Bahrain Outer Loop. Fans have voted against me.
Yeah, we've gone through Interlagos, unfortunately. I think it's the most overrated circuit in the world, but it should prove it's nice and wide.
It should be good.
Curbs, you can fit 2 cars on each curb. So, yeah, there should be lots of nice racing out there. Plenty of opportunities to make overtakes as well. And you've got that big long straight out. The final corner all the way towards turn number 1. It's completely flat out. So there's going to be some slipstreaming down in towards that turn number 1. So, yeah, should have some really good racing.
Yeah, I've raced here in touring cars actually quite more than once.
Of course you have.
Thank you. It's been it's a pretty fun one. Yesterday, by the way, when we speak of the MVD, because yesterday Dara McCormack taking a whole host of race wins, but obviously the MVD counting the amount of podiums you get. 6 races, 6 podiums for Dara McCormack. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, not really much else you can say about that. You kind of can only get 6. So, yeah. He's done a very good job indeed. It's perfect from Dara McCormack. He's not, if you look at his Twitter account, he's not the happiest bean in the world.
Nope.
He's pretty angry with how things went down in the final race. But him specifically, yeah, he did an exceptional job.
Yes, indeed. I don't know how long we've got until we're gridding up, because I wonder if we can do our little tier list. Whether we have time, I'm not sure, because I think we're going into the race. We'll do it very quickly then. Here you go. Hang on to that for a second.
Cool.
Let's go through it. Fordzilla. Where are we thinking they're going to be today?
Right at the bottom, I'm afraid.
Right at the bottom. Okay, boom. You want to hang on to that, because otherwise we're going to...
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be the hanger-on.
Arnage? At the same level?
No, I think they're going to be a little bit higher today. I think they're going to be middle of the sort of way.
Burst.
I think they're going to be top 4, top 5.
Let's put them up there.
Yeah.
We've got Veloce. They should be pretty strong.
They should be up there pretty high, yeah. I'm going to put them on par with sort of Burst, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to put them in the same sort of level, around there. The Apex Racing team.
I think they're going to be, again, pretty similar to Veloce and Blast Esports.
I'm going slightly... I'm thinking slightly lower. About here.
Okay, cool. Some love being made now between those 3 teams. Love that.
YAS HEAT?
YAS HEAT. I think they're going to be similar to Veloce.
Put them there. There we go.
Yeah.
BS competition.
BS competition. Or do you know? I think they're going to be a touch higher than Blast Esports.
I was going to say. I think if we go like diagonally, we're going off to about here.
Yeah. Get the nose up there.
R8G.
R8G. They're
bang.
Yeah, right up there.
They are right up here. They're one of the big contenders. Same with this one. We're talking Redline here. It's Enzo Benito. He loves it.
There you go.
Triton Racing.
Do you know what?
Really?
Yeah.
He thinks he's Williams. Jack Keithley's.
I'm going to try and...
Jack Keithley's in this. Here we go.
There we go. Above.
I think you've got to hold R8G in there as well, man. Unicorns of Love, I think around the same level as like BS competition, maybe slightly lower.
Yeah, okay.
In about there. There we go. The perfect tier list.
Yeah, 100%. Like
I think those honestly, they all go across the top. I think we're looking...
Just Redline slightly higher than those 2, but those 2 are above the board.
You think?
Yeah. The whiteboard's rendered useless for these 3, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think R8G, Williams, and Redline are looking extremely strong.
The real winners, though, are going to be the fans. Yes,
that's cheesy.
Oh, is it? Oh.
That's grim.
Cool.
That is grim. Obviously, we'll be updating this as we go through the day, mostly removing people and throwing them onto the floor because we're messy people.
That's my only job, really.
It's his favourite thing. He loved it yesterday.
Yeah. Poor Laura behind the camera, taking a couple to the face.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. I'm pretty sure you absolutely got a few that distant.
Yeah.
Not bad effort, actually.
Do a better job of dodging.
Especially Williams. I mean, you really got rid of them yesterday.
Veloce's got the best trajectory, the best. It's like skimming a stone. They've got the perfect sort of magnet size.
Yeah,
off they go.
I mean, we've got plenty of these magnets. We're definitely taking a few of these home. They are getting ready for the race. Obviously, they're just a little bit of one. They're finished with the qualifying session. We've not seen the order, so we don't really know yet. I think we're leaving it as a bit of a surprise. Who's going to be the strongest team today? Because we're kind of like Team Redline, sure. I actually think R8G.
It's going to be tough. This is the first race is like a bit of a wildcard race, isn't it? Because you've got all 36 drivers on the same grid. So it's like the most crazy race of the day, ultimately. So you're going to see checking up of drivers. You're going to see incidents of drivers. You're going to see drivers facing the wrong way. And ultimately, it's all about just trying to keep yourself out of trouble and get that safe passage through to the upper bracket. Of course, every team's going to make it to the next stage. Yep. If you're in the upper bracket, if you then go through from that, if you get in the top 3 from the upper bracket, that means you're automatically into the final. We got the results on screen then, Lewis.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we're right. Team Redline, they are looking very sassy on the top there.
Should not have doubted them, even more. As much as I was saying R8G, whilst Marcel Chinchik is up inside the top 4 yet again today, Jeffrey Rietveld, Kevin Siggy, Ferris Stanley for BS Competition. Wow, yeah, maybe we should put them out. Obviously, they've got Ibrahim Khan as well. Dominic Blyer, penultimate day in his Triton Racing campaign, still inside the top 5. Enzo Benito, the love of your life, in 7th. Nick Hoban and Jack Keithley. He'd be a little bit low. I think he'd be a bit disappointed with that. And then Marco Pajic inside the top 10. Alejandro Sanchez, Thibaut Casabon. Before we get to Alessandro Ottaviani in the YAS HEAT car. Matej Stashkovic should hopefully help his teammate of Dominic Blyer out a little bit. But that's kind of one thing they had a little bit of a problem with yesterday, was early assistance of their top driver. We'll see the rest of them as we filter through. Burst Esports just 17th and 18th. I know they're open wheel specialists. They're rFactor 2 specialists. But between Marocek, between Simicic and between Michi Hoyer, it's not looking great.
No, it certainly isn't. But again, it's one of those races where if you can keep yourself out of trouble, you can gain a lot of positions. So try and keep it nice and clean and just try and get yourself a safe passage through. Only 2 drivers count towards your score. So ultimately, you want the lowest possible score. If you're P1 and P2, that's 3 points. And then if you get if your third driver, it doesn't matter what they do, but if they get penalty points, that will get added onto your score. So you need to be careful.
Yeah, and that was one thing we saw. Who was it yesterday? I think it was Unicorns of Love in the finals, because obviously they had 2 cars that were up the order. And rather than getting involved with what was looking like it was going to be turning up to 10 with the fight, I actually just bailed off the circuit at Piratella. It was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of this fight. Honestly, super wise. Super wise. Just to get out of the fight. Unfortunately, it means you can't back up the team if you need to, but you're at least not going to hinder the team. There's no chance of that.
No, 100%, and we talk about this. I've been talking about it for a long time, the meta of how to get a result. And sometimes it does, take your third driver to go, right, that's it, I'm having none of this, I'm just getting out of the way. But anyway, I think we're ready for the first race, Lewis.
We certainly are. We begin with the heat. The lights are about to come on and the race is about to begin. It's a Redline front row lockout as we go racing on day number 2 in ERWC II on rFactor 2. As we head up towards turn 1, a decent launch from many, but perfect launch from Team Redline at the front. They managed to break a massive margin back to Marcel Djidzic. Unfortunately, it's been a poor start from Ferris Stanley, who's dropping backwards in the background. They head their way through the Centre S. It's all looking pretty clean, to be honest. 36 cars. All of them through tidy.
Yeah, really nice stuff from everybody here. Looks like they've learnt a lesson from yesterday. But the Redline duo has been a bump drafting here already, heading down in towards that turn number 4 after the Centre S's. It's 2 long straights really to contend with once you get out of that final corner. A bit of a lock-up there by Jeffrey Rietveld, but ultimately is going to hold on to that position and has a nice blocker behind. Redline have been very good when they do get a front row lockout. They produce the Redline wall, make it very difficult for an
Apologies for the technical issues. I will let you know very quickly, though, that it is us here in the broadcast and not with the race over. The race is still going on, thankfully, uninterrupted, and Redline are looking really strong. We'll get back into the race as soon as we can. There's still a couple of minutes left to go. A bit more action that we'll be able to see, but Redline looking fantastic at the moment.
Now, we'll say one thing. The whole building here has gone out of internet. So, yeah, it's something that is unfortunately out of our control. But we're back. We've got 1 minute left of this race here, Lewis. And like you said, Redline are looking dominant here. Enzo's made his way up from 7th up to 4th position. But it's Jeffrey Rietveld and Kevin Siggy doing the business. Marcel Djidzic, who was very good yesterday, also in a podium position right now. Ferris Stanley, Dominic Blyer in top 6. We've got Ibrahim Khan. We've got Hoban, Marco Pajic. And then we've got Juan Manuel Gomez for Team Fordzilla. So Redline look good right now. Who else looks good here? We got, well, I'll tell you what, it's quite a big mix here. BS Competition are in a good spot on a 5th and indeed 7th position. Who else? Unicorns of Love look okay. RHG are not looking great
because Thibaut Casabon, he's their next highest driver and is just outside of the top 20. So it's like, it's not looking great. We were saying before, Jack Keithley for Williams, 33rd, having issues. Gianmarco Fiducci, another one of those touring car specialists that we'd expect to see towards the front. They'll head on to the final lap of the race. I've got to say, with Juan Manuel Gomez, I did wonder, so on Wednesday night, he won his very first. Now, he's done a lot of races, racing it for, I think, like 5 or 6 years in the WTCR Esports. Of course, it was WTCC as well. And he took his first ever win on Wednesday night, and I wondered if it would change his mentality for some things, and I kind of get the feeling. By the way, it was also a barnstormer of a move, just giving that extra little bit of confidence. Did see there was also an issue, a penalty that went out to David Marocek, so for burst things aren't going particularly great. The only team that this looks completely solid for are running first, second and fourth. That is quite ominous.
Yeah, I think Triton are good here as well. Currently, Dominic Blyer is in 6th position, and the next driver's 13th, so that's 19 points. Yesterday we saw a team go through with 33. I'm expecting there to be a couple of teams in the 30s that are going to go through here as well, because it just seems like most teams have got one standout driver and everyone else tends to be struggling. I feel sorry for Fordzilla, because ultimately things aren't, the fact that they brought a team to this event this weekend is you've got to just sometimes stand up and applaud. It's a fair play for them to bring that team here. But yeah, Gomez having a really good race, and the other two drivers, one of them's not in a race because of out of his control, and the other driver just not having the greatest of races. Up towards that final corner then, Lewis, and well, Redline have looked incredible.
Yeah, there's been bits of drama as well. Damage going out to Votia Viani with a disconnection, and also Timotej Andonovski out of the race. We missed quite a bit of it, but as they drag their way up towards the line, it's going to be Jeffrey Rietveld and Kevin Siggy leading over a 1-2 for Team Redline. Behind them is Marcel Chinchik rounding out the podium, and Enzo Benito in 4th. Incredibly strong for the squad of Team Redline. Ferris Stanley and Dominic Blyer, not much separating them across the line. Ibrahim Khan backing up his teammate of Ferris Stanley, who lost out a little bit on the start. There'll be plenty of drag races and plenty of position switches up towards the line, but at the front it was pretty calm.
Yeah, it certainly was. We only got to see ourselves a couple of minutes of action, right? So yeah, figuring out who's exactly gone through is going to be difficult for us, but the one thing we do know, and it's very similar to being able to pay taxes and eventually we're all going to die, is that Team Redline are dominating on rFactor 2.
Yeah, they are annoyingly strong, and I've got to say their Infinity Q50, quite a few of these look really, really good, but that Redline Infinity Q50 looks absolutely fantastic. We'll take a look at the results, and you can see Rietveld, Siggy, Chinchik, Benito, Stanley being the top 5, with Blyer, Khan, Huben, Pajic and Gomez rounding out the top 10. Some in there to really keep an eye on, of course, Triton Racing, BS Competition, Redline as well, of course. They're definitely going through. I wonder if Burst might go through with 12th and 14th. I think they might actually be good enough to move through into the upper bracket, of course, in the quarterfinals. The rest of them kind of filtering their way through there. I'm not sure about Unicorns of Love, whether they're going to be particularly strong, but I mean, I don't really know. On this one, it's quite hard to tell. I think Unicorns might have done enough to get through into that quarterfinal upper bracket, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the top 6 teams here to move through into the upper bracket of the quarter-final. We didn't see much of that, Arjuna, but still, we got to see the end, and it was an unsurprising top 5 with Redline just being there.
It's where I think we discussed yesterday as well, right, Luke? The fact that Redline on the one platform that maybe they feel slightly less advantaged on compared to rFactor 2 and iRacing. Just to finish 4th, they got as many points as realistically they were likely going to, and now they can focus on 2 platforms where they are expected to be dominant.
Yeah, but again, they still turn up on ACC expecting to challenge for the win, right? That's just the way the team indeed go about their business. But yeah, definitely rFactor 2, iRacing, they're going to be the 2 they think we have to, well, it's not a case of even coming 2nd or 3rd. They are expecting to win this.
Yeah.
And by what we just saw there, I'm really kind of already expecting that to be the case, because they looked very quick. Although yesterday we saw Dominic Blyer fly out the traps, and then Dara McCormack over the course of the day sort of caught him up, and by the end of the day was the fastest. So maybe we can see the same story there. Can Marcel Chinchik for RHG potentially, change the narrative? Yeah,
we kind of had to rush through our pre-show, courtesy of the technical issues that we've kind of had. So let's kind of discuss the action yesterday a little bit more, and let's dive in with the team manager of the Unicorns of Love, where I chatted with Rennie Sievert earlier today. Let's take a look at that. With the same result.
Feels quite nice. I was very relieved after yesterday. I mean, last year we were kind of the underdog of the tournament. We were pretty new, and also had not that much expectations, and to be in the final was like very overwhelming to us. This year it was quite different, to be honest. We had high expectations, the drivers had high expectations, and also us as a team. And yeah, we got a pretty good run through the heats and the quarterfinal. It was really easy. But yeah, the showdown was quite different, quite tough, and didn't expect that. So but it's nice to win it in the end. As I said, really relieved, and a good start into the second World Cup.
Yeah, and in terms of that showdown yesterday, let's quickly go and touch on that. It's not fair to say that last year wasn't without some drama, although self-inflicted in turning off the traction control. This one was a little bit different, really pushed all the way to the very end. I think it's fair to say you were one of the quickest, if not the quickest, over the course of the day, except you had Dara McCormack and Williams there and willing to put up a fight.
There were two guys who were pretty fast. Dominic Blyer was also very, very fast. And we know him from ACC, and there was the fastest out there yesterday. We knew that he was quick. He's putting a lot of effort in. But I think our strength was that we had three specialists in ACC. Our lineup is built around ACC, and Williams. They had a different lineup, only Darth to fight at the front with us, but also Sato was quite fast yesterday. Didn't expect him to be that close to Dar, and that's what made it a bit more interesting. I would say we were pretty close, and as you said, the last year was also very dramatic. But that's how it works in the end. If two teams are on a similar level, it gets heated up a bit. So it's how it is sometimes for me as a team manager. It's a bit more stressful then. But yeah, in the end, it turned out well for us, and was
of course,
great
a lot's
fighting
changed
against them.
since the Esports Racing World Cup in 2022. One thing, of course, that we've seen from you guys is a partnership with the Apex Racing team. I'm very curious what your thoughts have been on that. Is you learn more about iRacing and they learn more about Assetto Corsa Competizione, but also some driver swaps around as well. Dennis Schoninger, former driver, we saw him in Twitch chat yesterday cheering on his new team with Team Williams, and of course you've just signed Nicholas Hauben. How much has changed in your mind behind the scenes since the last time we talked to you 12 months ago?
It has changed a lot. Last year we were the last team in iRacing, so our performance there was pretty bad because we didn't have much knowledge. So the partnership with Apex Racing team helped us a lot growing and getting our drivers a bit faster. You need a lot of experience in iRacing. But also with Niklas Huben, he is not only fast in ACC, but is good in different platforms or across platforms. He has some experience in rFactor. He was driving there a few years ago, or long time ago, and also managed to drive a bit iRacing for GTW, I think. So he's a good addition. It hurts to let Dennis go, but he's still a good friend of us, and we parted ways in a good way. We know that he's in good hands with Williams, and I'm glad that he's not driving this World Cup, so we don't have drama with him. So, but I think a lot has changed. We want to be better on different platforms. I think with Apex we have a very strong partner. Also to give them a bit knowledge of us in ACC, I hope that we can fight a bit more at the front in rFactor and iRacing.
One thing, of course, that we got to celebrate at the end of last year was the fact that VCO Simi Award winner is the Unicorns of Love, thanks to your wonderful livery. I've got a special sneak peek at what you're going to be running on Sunday on iRacing, but I'm going to ask you before we let you go, which of the three cars in this World Cup is your favorite paint that the Unicorns of Love is going to be racing with?
I'm the one who does the livery, so I would go with the iRacing one because it's the one I didn't take too much time in, too much effort. But I think the BTCC car is quite nice. I like BTCC. I drove the car a few years ago in race 7, where I started my journey. So Yeah, it's quite nice. It fits good. So I would go with that one. But I think iRacing is a very special one, and I hope that some people might talk about it a bit more. And of course, with our sponsor, it has a nice fit, I would say.
Yeah, hopefully it's not lost tomorrow. I think that's the way that we're looking at it. Very excited to see how today and tomorrow goes, Rene. Thanks for joining us here today. But let's head back to the action. Let's head back to day 2 on rFactor 2. Great little chat, and yeah, can't wait till you guys get to see that livery tomorrow that the Unicorns of Love car will sport, that Lotus 79. We've chatted now about the Unicorns of Love, and yesterday we started our rundown of talking about all the different teams and their performances through the course of the Esports Racing League. Let's talk about one team with an all-Polish lineup. Triton Racing impressed us yesterday. Let's take a look at their lineup. A team that made it to the Masters in all 3 of the Cups in 2022. And Lewis, they come into today with the same lineup as we saw yesterday, the same 3 drivers. So going to be interesting to see how they get on. Does look as though provisionally they're good to make it to that upper bracket in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, one of only 2 teams, at least from what I can see, and again it's a wild stab in the dark, but I believe there are only 2 teams that have not changed their lineup today. There might be a couple of other ones, but Triton being one of them, Team Redline being the other one, and let's be honest, it works for Redline, so fair enough. Why wouldn't it work for Triton? Of course, they're doing all the things behind the scenes when it comes to checking penalties, etc., as to who's going to be going through. But with Triton's positions in that race, 6th and 12th, they are comfortably above the cut-off line, which looks to be around about 30 points. So I don't see why they're not going to be moving into that upper bracket of the quarterfinals, that chance to automatically move through into the final.
Their best performances in the Masters, Luke, came on rFactor 2 and then on iRacing as well, where they finished 4th and then 3rd. So I think for them, with their strength yesterday on ACC, Dominic Blyer being one of the quickest at the start of the day, they'll go in today with confidence, knowing they're still in the equation, not just to fight every day, but potentially to fight for the championship come the end of tomorrow.
Yeah, historically, it's kind of either been Triton have given us, nothing, or they've been exceptional. And so far, they've been pretty exceptional, especially Dominic Blyer himself. I will say one thing. I want to see Marcin versus Marko Pajic for the best eyebrows in sim racing. That is the grudge match the whole world needs to see. And also, Dominic Blyer looks like Ivan Drago from the Rocky films in that picture. If he dies, he dies.
We had a chat yesterday, by the way, with a mystery guest. It was Pablo Castro. We talked a little bit about the Golden Toast Grand Prix that will be held later on this summer. We're going to have a guest join us later on today as well. This time, no mystery about him, but it is the Mouse Esports driver, Moritz Loner, who is, after a couple of years focused on real-world racing, dived back into sim racing, and, well, hopefully, Mouse Esports have indicated that maybe they would love to join us for VCO competitions. Lewis, I mean, our entry lists are always open.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an interesting chat to have with them. Mouse being a big team in the world of esports, they were really, really impressive in their first proper sim racing. I know obviously did Pesk with Beneca a little bit earlier before that, but then doing the ESL R1. They showed very well. Max Beneca taking that victory. I'd love to see them in ERL. I think we all kind of would. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more about that later on. You obviously have to wait and see, because Florian's also going to be jumping in to replace Luke, so we can have a really big word with the man himself. It should be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And he's got to do some commentary as well after that.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're going to throw him on the spotlight, just like we did with Pablo yesterday.
We're not saying that. We're not saying that yet. Hopefully he's not watching.
I mean, he should have watched yesterday. He should know what to expect. Slightly different format. We showed that breakdown earlier on, Luke, and I'm enjoying this format. The only thing that's maybe slightly confusing is the way that the final is now no longer the final, and we go to the showdown after that. But it gives teams a minimum of 2 opportunities to work their way on forward. And if you're in that upper bracket and you maybe don't have the best race, there's still that chance to fight your way on forward after that. So there's plenty of chances to have a poor race but still work your way forward.
Yeah, it's kind of how esports works, okay? You know, of course, we've got motorsport, we follow motorsport sim racing, but also there's an esports variant. And this is more of an esports competition. And with Call of Duty, with CSGO, there's always an elimination bracket. So on the weekend, if, you know, one of the favorites has a bad event or a bad map, let's say, they go down then into the elimination bracket. So it gives every team 2 chances, which for the viewers is great because you more than likely still always get the best 2 teams in a final. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that, but for the most part it does.
Yeah.
I think we have results confirmed, by the way, out of the first race of the day, so we can say that Redline, BS Competition, Triton, RHG, Veloce, and the Unicorns of Love will fight first in the upper
Redline
bracket.
did it! Oh,
I know.
That was touch and go.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Touch and go for Redline.
Amazing. They're so lucky, some might say.
Oof.
The luckiest team in sim racing, Team Redline. Anyway, moving on.
And then in the lower bracket, the Apex Racing team, Arnage, Team Fordzilla, YAS HEAT, Burst Esports, and after their strong performance yesterday, Williams Esports, well, they've got to fight their way through the lower bracket once again here, Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they clearly had quite a lot of issues. We didn't really see what happened to Jack Keithley in that race, but he obviously had issues with a lap down.
We didn't see what happened to a lot of drivers.
We didn't see what happened to anything. That's fine. But obviously, Keithley's one that we would normally suspect would go quite strong. I would say that they have despite being right at the bottom, they finished 19th, 32nd, and 33rd. That ain't good. Just to paint that one out for you if you didn't realise already. I would suspect that they are going to go into the lower bracket, and they're going to be one of the strongest teams. I would be surprised if they didn't make their way through.
Good investigating work there, Lewis. So good maths. If they get over 50 points, they might be in the lower bracket.
Well, there's no might about it. They definitely is.
For sure.
I don't know. You know, looking at those ones, the ones that I would say would be going through, Williams, Apex, and Burst. I think I'd lean more towards them being the ones to transition their way through. Obviously, Burst had quite a bit of drama in that race, and they didn't exactly go well in qualifying, so who knows?
I think you pointed out that Burst may be open wheel specialist, so maybe not an entire surprise there. Luke, I'll ask you, in your opinion, Bahrain Outer Loop versus Interlagos. You've already, you know, been pretty opinionated on what you think about this track, but what type of racing do you think the Outer Loop would have given us?
It's weird because the middle sector is very technical. It's a tough part. I actually did a few laps. There's some young lad with his family having a birthday party here earlier. I did a few laps with them and got involved in a race, which was quite fun, in the Cup car. And it's one of those circuits where it's about power for 2 sectors, and then you just got one sector where it's just really tough to run side by side because it's so narrow. So, but I think it would have offered. No, would it have offered better racing than Interlagos?
I think so.
I think Interlagos is so overrated. That's just my honest opinion of the place, and maybe it's because it's some way. As commentators, we've probably commentated thousands of races like Spa.
Yeah,
Spa, it never gets boring.
I think Spa does get boring. I think Spa's very overrated.
Interlagos is used so often, especially in open wheel races.
Yeah.
With a touring car, you know, maybe it's going to be fun today. But in the first race, everyone seemed a little bit nervous. There wasn't anyone trying to send it, to be fair. So
no one needed to risk it, so why would they?
Exactly. I think as we go along this competition, Arjuna will see a little bit more action. So hopefully, the track choice was the right choice.
Here's a look at the bracket, confirmed which teams fight in each portion. And remember, there are 3 teams that can advance directly from that upper bracket to the final, where, of course, from there we go to the one-on-one showdown. There's a look at the quarterfinal matchups and the teams that get ready to do battle. Should be an interesting one for them, but of course, in that lower bracket, a little bit more is on the line. I think something we've kind of glossed over so far today, Lewis, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, is the fact that, yes, this is a touring car, but it's not a front-wheel drive touring car.
It is a rear-wheel drive touring car. Runs on the same regulations, of course, the NGTC regs that we typically see with the Toyota Corolla, with the full Focus, with all the other cars that we use touring car-wise, but much akin to with the BMW that's also on rFactor 2, it is a rear-wheel drive, which is interesting in itself. It's also a championship-winning car in British touring cars, so fantastic one. I always quite like the Infiniti Q50. I think it's something different. It looks I think it looks really good, actually, and especially with some of the liveries we got on here. It's a bit of an oddball choice. I can tell you, as a touring car specialist, I would suck because I'm very bad in rear-wheel drive touring cars because I have no talent.
Touring car specialist.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was having a great discussion with Jamie Flukelly, who said that I would do all right in touring cars.
And he's the nicest man in sim racing, isn't he, Arjun?
He hates being
So he's not going to say
called that.
something negative about you.
He'd never say anything that wasn't entirely true. Lewis, I mean, I would want to ask, you did go up over to Corby earlier today. How was your trip? I saw you put some track maps up.
Yeah, certainly did. Very nice, actually. Really nice facility they've got there.
Went to Apex today.
Yeah, it's he's joking because I've not said it. Well, I've said it. Well, yes, yes, I've said it a lot. But yes, no, I did go.
Wait,
all the way
Luke,
up there.
did you not get the invite?
He did, but he would rather stay in bed rather than talking to some.
I didn't get woken up this morning though. That was
that's a good sign.
That's a story for another time though.
That's a good sign. That is a good sign. But no, really, really nice. And yes, we did stick a few track maps onto the wall. They were very nice about it, but I did leave room though for you, Arjuna. There's 40 track maps. I didn't put all of them on. I think I put like 10 or 15 on there. So yeah, plenty of space.
Well, there's a look at Simply Race. We'll take a look at some of the social media postings as well. Don't forget, use the hashtag ERWC II to stay involved with us, and you can always at VCO Esports.
He's not a traitor.
No Unicorns of Love t-shirt today. He's still keeping it inside of the Hooves army, let's not forget. And at some point, there will be a BS competition and a Unicorns of Love split t-shirt. I am going to will that into existence. Moreno Sarica, though, enjoying some time here on rFactor 2, Luke.
That's not
Yeah, Luca looking like Bob Ross's paintbrush today. So good to see him getting involved in the old Twitter as well. We've got Apex Racing Team. Your favourite team, Lewis. You know, you went to
I went there. Do you know I went there?
Yeah.
I actually went there.
Have to make it to the semi-finals in ACC. We go again. Yeah, to see. Well, I'm not sure what Lewis is doing there, but Alex Goldschmidt sending out a nice message.
Got to go to the OnlyFans for that.
Yeah. That's normally behind a
definitely.
paywall what Lewis is doing there, but you know, this is what we do for VCO. We try and include everybody.
Yeah, indeed. Veloce posting about their lineup as well for the day. Gianmarco Fidici taken with Marco Pajic of Isaac Gillis. It's going to be, I say, it's a strong lineup. And then Unicorns of Love. They tweeted last night about how they did. Obviously, very impressed with a victory, and they made a few tweets about it. I don't think Williams would have been too happy. That's fine.
I love the whole tweet stuff coming up on screen. So anyone out there, send your tweets in.
Absolutely.
I want to see the profile pictures. That's what I want to see.
That's the only reason I want it.
How you're watching. That's again. I want to see how you're watching the old the show.
I'm watching it on this.
There you go. So you should take a picture and then tweet it in.
All right.
Do you note the words colors of the day, though? I think that's something that's going to be interesting each day to note which teams are running up at the front, especially since it's a little bit better than some of the races that we've had where there's a lot of black and red cars, or in the case of one ERL event, there were a lot of blue and white cars that definitely did not make your guys' life easy, that is for sure. So just getting ready for that upper bracket. Race control have already been kept relatively busy. In stark contrast, Lewis, to what we saw yesterday where the heats were pretty quiet, although I think quiet was also an understatement in saying not much passing. Race control definitely already being more engaged than they had to be on Assetto Corsa yesterday.
It's touring cars though, isn't it? So, you know, yeah, they're going to have a bit of work to do. Obviously, if that is the case and we keep on with that trend, then if we have to go to a third race in the Showdown, I'm terrified. Alas, I think when we get to that point, I actually don't think it will be as crazy as yesterday. I think a lot of teams will have learnt their lesson.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I know. I mean, to be fair, I do remember the last time when we did touring cars in ERL when it was R8G versus Redline in a final at Donington Park, and it was horrendous. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. I think this is it's a very wide open track. You're expecting drama in the heats. There's 36 cars. It's the most cars we see all day on track at the same time. You're expecting drama in that one.
I'm expecting drama here. There's a group of 48 people doing an endurance race behind us. And they have all had beers, so they're going to be... There we go. They're all behind us waving. They're on the beers. They're having a proper good time. So we expect anything and everything. At some point, there might be a Ted Kravitz coming in interviewing us. Anything can happen, so just be aware.
Yeah, there is... there's
there we go. Look at that. Give us a wave, everybody.
No, they're not
there we
going
go. Cool. No one's listening.
They're having that conversation. It's fine.
They're on the beers already.
Yeah.
Good effort.
It's all right. Luke Crane will be on the beers.
I'll have a beer as well, please. Thank you very much.
One day.
So while we wait to get racing, still, I think, final moments of qualifying, just finishing up before we can take a look at in fact, just getting word that they are starting with qualifying. So we're going to step aside instead for a couple of moments here. We won't make you wait too much longer. When we come back, we'll head back out to Interlagos and we'll get racing once again with the quarterfinals. Well, hello everyone, getting ready to go racing for the quarterfinal with the qualifying session just coming to an end in that upper bracket. Just a reminder of the teams: Redline, BS Competition, Triton, R8G, Veloce, and the Unicorns of Love. And of course, 3 of these teams, Luke, will punch their way directly through to the finals.
Yeah, they go first, right? So ultimately, the top 6 teams get their first chance to get themselves straight to the final. So if you're top 3 here, you're good, you're golden, you move to the final. If you're bottom 3, you do have another chance, and then you will join the top 3 from the lower bracket. So you will not see anyone finish the day in this first race, or when you do second race.
Yeah.
But yeah, the quickest team so far.
Lewis, in your perspective, in this race, getting off the line is going to be important as well, because unlike yesterday with the rolling starts, standing starts today, much like we'll have tomorrow.
Yeah, I love me some standing starts. It's not an easy thing to kind of judge. You've got to find the bite point and that kind of stuff, or really learn the techniques that work best. There are some odd techniques where you're kind of like, what? How do you know? One of those things that the
Understand how many lights there are?
Understanding how many lights there are. Sometimes it might just pop up with 1 and then go green, and then some people don't start, and then they cause a massive crash in the start-finish league. Anyway, no, obviously around here it's fine. They do get 4 lights, I think. But the thing is, with Interlagos, standing start, we talk about it all the time when you see races around there. The grid is not flat. It rises up towards the top. It's kind of less. It's more flat in the middle. In fact, with 36 cars towards the back, you're actually going downhill on the start, and that's kind of all those complications. Some of those methods you might want to start the car differently, whether you're starting on the clutch or on the brake. It's insane how many different methods you need to do, and you need to be adaptable with that. That's where the rFactor 2 specialists, for me, that's where they really come to the fore in a day like this, is getting that start done perfectly.
Well, one thing that I think tomorrow is going to be very weird is the fact that that car is totally different, right? So old school. It's not something the drivers would be so familiar with. Yesterday, Luke, we talked about a GT4 car that maybe not many of the drivers had experience with, but it's in the ballpark, right? It's a GT4 machine. Today, I think, is not too dissimilar, right? Yes, touring car machines, a lot of people will think front-wheel drive is different, but this is rear-wheel drive. It's going to behave a lot more normally to what the teams and the drivers have already known and become familiar with.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's even really to do with the actual nuances of the car in terms of getting pace out there. I think it's the beating and banging to do with it, because when it comes to tomorrow with the open wheel, there's no chance you can even get any kind of contact, because you'll just get tangled up with the open wheel car. So today is really a chance where they can genuinely race side by side, have a little bit of touching, rubbing and racing, all that good stuff. I think that's what's going to add to the spectacle. But it's the same as every week. We have a different car in every single week of this championship, right? And it's about adaptability. If you can adapt it better than everyone else, then you're going to be golden and you're going to get those big points.
I just see a bananas entered the room.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice. The guy dressed as a checkered flag.
Someone dressed up as a safety car as well.
This
Fantastic.
is incredible, honestly.
What a party that is. I think we should just blow his broadcast and we're going to join them, to be honest.
You want to do what?
Well, we're hearing a lot of it in the background as well, so we're definitely getting a sense of what the atmosphere is truly like. Qualifying is in the books for this upper bracket of the quarterfinal. Jets, would there be a shock if I told you who would be on the front row of the grid?
Is it Redline?
Oh, how did you know, Lewis?
Spooky, I know. It's as if they are quite good. Obviously looking to book their place in the final in this. The top 3 teams going through to that final. Redline, I mean, they're almost assured to be up there, but drama can happen.
Ooh, I don't know what that was, but the drama can happen. Jazz hands.
The drama hands. No, that's jazz hands. That's the drama hands.
Oh, drama hands.
I still maintain that Redline are the favourites here today, and so the question I'm kind of wondering is, who is looking good to join them? Well, I thought this before. You guys never got my predictions, but I made them. So I thought Redline were favourites today. I think Redline's a favourite tomorrow. The question is, tomorrow I think Apex will be one of the favourites to join them in the showdown. Today, Luke, I genuinely don't really get the sense, even with one of the heats in the books, who is the favourite to be joining them.
Oh, God, yeah, I have no idea either. I think this is open. It's very similar to ACC. I think iRacing is the most closed book out of all of it. I think there's a genuine 3 teams that are going to do well on that. I think Williams may be able to spring a surprise. Like I said at the top of the show, I think if Williams get a good day today, match what Redline did yesterday, or maybe even better it by getting P3, there's an opportunity here that Williams could upset the apple cart and win the whole weekend. For me, again, they were a formed team coming up towards the end of 2022, and yeah, in 2023 they've started off really strongly as well. They've made some really good acquisitions. Carl Janssen yesterday was really good for the team, and that's not his specialist sim either. So tomorrow, expect Janssen to be incredible. Obviously, we mentioned his Call of Duty exploits. He's very good at that, of course. But yeah, Williams have got an outside chance of this. So for me, Redline have to win today.
All right.
Well, I tell you what, I'll step aside. Let's go racing for the quarterfinals.
Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, cars, quarterfinal upper bracket. So we are going to see 3 teams advance straight to our final, and then we're going to see 3 teams go to the lower bracket semi-final, if you like. So that's what's cool, right? The lower bracket semi-final. Semi-final. Yeah, the semi-final. Yeah, 3 teams go through here. As you can see, it's a red line lockout at the front. But Unicorns of Love have got a car there in 3rd position. BS Competition, Veloce have got a car in the top 5. And again, Veloce, YAS HEAT, they've got a couple of touring car specialists. They get it right. Oh boy, we're in for an absolute crackerjack. Here we go. It's race time here. 3 teams will advance to our final. And we are green light racing now. Off we go. Across the line they go. Redline with another great start here. RAG off with some rallycross to take a position from Triton away. Lovely bit of moving there. Down towards turn number 1 we will go. Wow, Redline have done what it needed to do. BS Competition moving up into 3rd position as it stands. Ferris Stanley doing the complete opposite of what he did in the first race. He's gained a position. Enzo Benito being sneaky by being in P4. He started 7th last time out and finished in 4th, so he'll be looking to indeed move forward quicker sooner rather than later. Tobias Grunewald in 5th position. Shinjik, Pajic, Andronovsky. We've got Kazabon and Blaya as your top 10.
Yeah, right. Back that we can do, but well, had problems. So Unicorns of Love, whilst they've got one moving up the order, they've had a big blow down because I think the other one's retired. As there's some big squeezing as well. I've got to say, in all of this, Jacob Charcot, by the way, did get a jump start in the race, and unlike yesterday, that penalty will not be rescinded as there's a big move to the inside from Veloce.
Oh, absolute Sen City there. Doesn't quite work out, but as you can see, it's a trio of RAG cars trying to keep the Veloce car at bay. A lovely helicopter
big squeeze.
Here, and again, you can see cars on the curb. Curves are so wide here, you can almost race 2 cars side by side through it. Again, as you're seeing so much movement there in the second group of 5 cars. Andronovsky moving up, RAG in a great spot here, 6th and indeed 7th position. Right now, for me, I think BS Competition, RAG and Redline are looking like 3 teams as it stands that will go through.
Yeah, I think RAG are the favourite team to go and take it to Redline in the final. They are the ones that I would be leaning towards potentially being the ones. But BS Competition, Ferris Stanley's pace, especially Ibrahim Khan when he hooks it up, they are incredibly fast when they get it together. Let's see what we're like up towards turn 1. Obviously using all of the road on the right-hand side. Marcel Chinchik's getting down the inside of Tobias Grunewald, but not going for anything. Meanwhile, in the background, Nick Hoban was going down the inside of Dominic Blaya.
Yeah, Marcel Shinchik there nearly sent Grunewald to Sao Paulo. That was nearly a complete send into the side of the car. Luckily, he got the car stopped. But yeah, Ferris Stanley for me already has been a surprise package today. Someone who I've come across a couple of years ago in the Logitech McLaren G Challenge in the Asia Pacific region. He's been picked up by BS Competition and hasn't really looked back. You see an RAG car off the circuit there, side by side with another RAG car. Nicholas Huben is looking in his rearview mirror thinking, yep, you guys can crack on going 3 wide. I'm going to drive up as far up this road as I possibly can. He's also battling them with Gillison. He's got Michi Chausha a little bit further back as well. At the front stands Belt Diggy's doing the job right now. Ferris Stanley in a great spot. Enzo Benito doesn't need to really get involved here. He could almost park the car if he wanted to do so. Tobias Grunewald then for Unicorns of Love. And actually, Unicorns of Love are in a good spot here as well. They're on, as it stands, 17 points. Let's look at RAGs. RAG are on 14 points. And then we've got BS Competition who are on 13 points. So yeah, right now, again, it's still Redline, BS and RAG. So Unicorns of Love need to make some moves. Unfortunately for Huben, the driver right ahead of him is Dominic Blaya.
Enzo Benito will want to get onto the podium. You can see him slipstreaming up to the back.
Well, hello everyone. Apologies for the continued technical issues. We're working to try and resolve them as best that we can. The quarterfinal upper bracket has been complete, and provisionally, from what we can tell, Redline finishing 1, 2, and 3. No surprise to see them move to the final, but advancing with them provisionally, BS Competition and R8G Esports. Hard to say what really happened in that race, guys, because once again, unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of it.
No, but I mean, important thing was that it was a Redline 1, 2, 3. We do know that. They are incredibly strong at the moment. But still, R8G moving their way through the order, looking strong, looking to potentially challenge them. Do they have the pace to do so? We've certainly seen it from them before. On the day like this, though, it doesn't like Redline.
Yeah, we've seen it happen, haven't we, where Redline have looked just like unbelievable, and then all of a sudden they get to the final and they've been mixed with, right? It's gone to 3 races. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility for Redline to, be driven against properly and have a proper showdown, as it will be called later on. But as it stands right now, they look so strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I think, Lewis, you mentioned earlier, Triton and Redline, the only 2 teams to carry forward their 3 drivers from yesterday, and Redline already showing exactly how strong they are.
Something.
Apparently sometimes. So yeah, 3 drivers from that lineup carrying forward to today. Lower bracket is going to be the final chance for some teams to work their way forward. Of course, 3 will advance to the semi-finals, and then again, 3 more advance directly to the finals after that. And this, I think, is maybe somewhat of a surprise, Lewis, for us, if you had told us at the end of 2022 that the Apex Racing team would have struggled this much in ERWC. But when we look at their lineup, maybe it's not such a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I went to Corby earlier on today.
Did you?
Yeah. I had a good chat with them about it. Yeah. Their focuses at the moment are obviously all over the place with sim racing. They've got ESLR1, they've got PESC. They've got a lot going on at the moment, and so they're kind of they're fielding some drivers who maybe giving them the opportunity to kind of step it up. To kind of see how they fend on other platforms as well. It's why when they had a conversation with Unicorns of Love, be like, "Do you want drivers?" And Apex went, "No, actually, we're gonna leave it as our drivers, and we're gonna see how we fare just as a team." So they're kind of just treating this as sort of like whatever we can get from it, great, and using it as a really big learning experience for some of their fairly junior drivers comparatively to the norm. I think it's a great idea.
I like it as well. Luke, you made the point earlier as well that the iRacing of the 3 platforms, it's maybe the one that favors the specialists the most. You say maybe a 3-horse race with Williams maybe, getting involved with Apex and Redline. But the more I think about it, potentially we could have a bit more of a fight just behind Redline and whoever's challenging them, because the likes of BS Competition, Arnage and R8G, these are all teams that we've seen show up quite strongly on iRacing. And I think Lewis mentioned it yesterday. Burst Esports were pretty competitive in that V8 Supercars in ERWC 2022 as well.
Yeah, I think the tyre model is so different to rFactor 2 and ACC. Obviously, they're all different from each other. I think it's the biggest difference. So if you can nail it in terms of getting hold of that tyre model, keeping the tyres in a decent temperature range, albeit it's a short race, but you can overheat the tyres so quickly in iRacing. So yeah, if you can manage to maintain them, you're going to be in a good spot. But yeah, you're right. There's a reason why there's 12 teams in this, right? There's a reason why they've qualified from 30+ teams to this point, because they're all bloody good. So yeah, don't expect anything other than an absolute shootout tomorrow. It's going to be incredible, and any team genuinely can win. I think Redline, of course, are the favourites. R8G, of course, Williams, Apex, you throw into that as well. But yeah, there's a reason why they're here. None of these teams are mugs, that's for sure.
Oh,
I tell you what, let's talk a little bit more about some of the teams that we've had over the course of the ERL. One team that squeaked their way in as the 12th place in the ERL is YAS HEAT, and they've got a big change in lineup for this ERWC 2023. signings for YAS HEAT as the merry-go-round of drivers continues to work their way through. Now, they finished 12th in points in the ERL, Lewis, but it's also, I think, significant to say that A, they missed a handful of events through the course of the year, but B, they also showed up to a lot of the events with 2 instead of 3 drivers, but were still always in and amongst the fights.
I'll never forget their run in ERWC the very first day when they were. It was on ACC, and they still looked really strong. They still nearly moved through. I think they nearly moved into the semi-finals with just 2 drivers. Super impressive to do. And, you know, they've had that as a fairly consistent issue, but with the fact they've hoovered up quite a few other drivers, that should be less of an issue from now on. I think it's could be positive times for YAS HEAT.
Absolutely. We mentioned that we've got a special guest joining us, so I think we're going to leave Moritz Loner to have a bit of a chat here with Lewis and Luke live from the studio.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get Moritz involved. There he is.
Hello, mate.
There he is, Moritz Loner. Hello, mate.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Oh,
It seems like I can't escape you guys.
No, I know. Poor guy.
Yeah, I have to sit next to him, Moritz.
Yeah, I've not showered in a week just so that he has to be very uncomfortable. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I got actually sick after the ESL event, so still in recovery right now, but feeling good. Feeling good to be here.
I love that you decided to match the hoodie with your facial hair as well. Good work.
Yeah, right. Looks good.
So, been watching ERL, ERWC. Obviously, we've not seen you out on the grid. Any chance that we can see Mouse joining the competition at some point in 2023?
It's probably not my decision. It's a decision of Rene, but he's been talking about it since the last few weeks. So I think there might be something coming soon. Hopefully, let's see.
What's it been like, mate? Obviously, we've had a discussion. Well, we spoke many a time over the last few years. What's it been like moving to a team that are not really known for their sim racing? Obviously, they come from other esports. What's it been like, getting involved with such a big organisation and ultimately getting results straight off the bat?
Yeah, it's been crazy so far. It's kind of always been a dream since watching CS:GO and League of Legends back in the days, and it was always kind of a dream of being involved with such a big esports organization. But at first I was afraid because they have those big CS:GO teams, and then they tried to get into sim racing and okay, whatever, what is sim racing compared to CS:GO, at this very moment. But we quickly found out that Mouse has a really, really big intention behind sim racing, and also they are really excited about it, which made it so much more fun for us and so much more believable for us to be with the team and now perform that well at the first event we did in ESL Katowice, with Max winning the first race, me getting P2 in the second day. Very, very good kickoff in my opinion.
Now, you're one of the most adaptable drivers in sim racing. We see you on pretty much any platform. We've seen you do really well on rFactor 2, Race Room, obviously iRacing. You're right up there. Sport now chucking it out there. Literally anything that can be raced, you'll race it. But with the teammates that you've got, they're typically more iRacing based, right? How does that kind of affect you as a driver? Does that kind of lean you more towards the iRacing side of things, or are you still plenty open, plenty adaptable?
I'm completely open with that. I go wherever is the most fun, the best competition, and obviously now with having Max and Patrick being very, very good on iRacing, they can probably help me get even better on iRacing, because there was a platform I was struggling on the most. So once we go back into iRacing special events or whatever is coming next, they will probably the ones that can help me, while I maybe have the upper hand right now on maybe something like Sport or Race Room or whatever, because it's similar driving style, and I can teach them a little bit about how you have to approach Sport, for example.
We were having a chat and you saying, you felt like you're quite loyal to teams, but actually you've moved quite often over the last, you do 2 years and then that's it, you're done. What was the big appeal to move to Mouse?
As we had a talk some days ago, that it feels like it always feels like I'm staying with the team for a very long time. But then in hindsight thinking it's only 2 years, but in 2 years the development of sim racing esports is so vast and so fast, and everything is growing so fast, it feels like a very, very long time, but all compressed into only 2 years. And moving on from there was actually tough, because I made really, really good friends. yeah, but it was a really good decision, and I think we all saw in Katowice that it was the 100% the right decision.
Well, cheers, Moritz. I think we're about to get ready for the next race, which I think might drag you along for the ride.
Yeah, want to get involved with a bit of commentary for 10 minutes?
Sure, yeah, why not?
There we go. All right, sweet, perfect.
He is the eye candy now of the trio.
That
right?
is true.
Yeah, luckily we've got someone easy on the eye to look at here.
Moritz is a good-looking.
He is, isn't he?
He's a good-looking man.
Very well
I'm
groomed.
getting worse, man. I'm getting older as well.
Oh dear, goodness me! You might pull him away from Enzo at this rate.
I'm not sure.
Nah, that's not
hasty
possible.
Well, we'll see. In this race, I mean, you're obviously well versed with sim racing and stuff. You know, kind of most of these teams. Team Redline have been looking really, really strong today. Do you know of any team that might actually fight them, take it to them, or is it just gonna be them running away?
I think it's always hard to fight Redline. They're on top in pretty much everything they are doing, and I think right now here as well. So it's gonna be a really, really hard fight for all the other teams. But let's see, maybe there are surprises, and looking forward to what's coming next.
Yeah, indeed. To give everyone a little bit of a basis to where we are, we're going into the quarterfinal lower bracket where we'll see the 6 teams again fight out. This time it is for survival. 3 teams will get knocked out. We've got the Apex Racing team. We've got Arnage competition. We've got Team Fordzilla, Burst, YAS HEAT, and Williams. Any predictions?
This is so wide open. I'm going to ask Moritz a quick question, actually.
We'll
take all of the teams you've ever raced for, take your allegiances away. You're a big esports fan, you're a big sim racing fan. Who's your team you support in sim racing?
Ooh.
Teams I support in sim racing? Well,
who are you
I really have to say
Yeah.
Dur. Like every time I watch races now, I have to support Dur because it's just been so recent, and it's a team I built up myself from the ground up. So that's like still something that I really enjoy, watching them progressing, getting better, and winning races. Other than that, I don't really have like teams that I support. I more likely have like drivers who I think are like I'm friends with and whatnot, and support them.
Hates Williams. No, actually, I did see Moritz Loner in a Williams jumper in Poland. That was very good. And in
still
front of his
have
team
that, yeah.
boss.
With a BS+
Do you
sticker on
think
it.
Oh, goodness me. Well, here's a look at the tournament bracket of what we've already been through. Obviously, the heats, we saw the top 6 move through, and we've already had Team Redline, BS Competition, and RHG move through into the final. And they'll fight to be the best of 2 to go into that showdown later on. What we're looking at here is Apex, Arnage, Fordzilla, YAS HEAT, Burst, and Williams in that quarter-final lower bracket to become the final 3 teams inside the semi-final. I'm going to go. I think it'll be Apex, Burst, and Williams.
Okay, cool. I'm not going to do a prediction because I don't like being wrong. So I'm just going to let
curse,
it play out.
apparently?
Let it play out for sure.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. 10 minutes race. I think. Do you like this race, Moritz? Do you want them shorter, longer? I think 10 minutes is pretty good for this style of racing, right?
I really like short races. I'm not a fan of endurance. 10 minutes is perfect for me.
Yeah. And yet he's not a fan of endurance. Still did Le Mans Virtual Series. This guy.
Yeah, but he wasn't using hand-cooked tyres, so that's why he enjoyed it.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
True that.
I was going to say, most of the racing I've seen you in is almost always sprint racing. So, fair enough.
Multiple podium winner in DTM Trophy. Isn't that right, Moritz? Multiple.
Stop it, man.
Oh, you're going to make him blush.
Oh, he's
You make me blush. No, don't do that.
Multiple. Did you do it in your first weekend?
He did.
He did, yeah. I remember that. Well, that was a big moment for sim racing. And everyone was like, Moritz Loner's going to win the championship. We'll never see him in sim racing again.
He realised that turn 1, in turn 1 Monza is not just sim racing, but it also exists in real life.
I know. Amazing. Amazing stuff.
A lot cleaner in real life.
Are people cleaner or dirtier in real life racing?
Dirtier, like 100%.
Yeah,
much dirtier.
I've had that conversation with a few. It's like, ooh.
If you pull those moves that we do in real life to like sim racing, you would be the most hated driver by far.
Did you watch the showdown yesterday?
I did not, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's a shame. I would really like to have picked your brain about some of those moves we were having.
It was
in that
like
final showdown.
It was like 2013 Tim Heinemann's racing.
Okay, that's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Yeah, that's it was suboptimal. We'll go with that. I don't really know what else to.
Are we ready for this lower bracket here?
I think
I got told about 10 minutes ago. So I don't know what's going on.
we should be getting ready for it. Qualifying's already been completed. Not sure as to who's on that front row, but qualifying around here is not super important, is it? I mean, Moritz, you're probably known more. Interlagos is a really raceable track, right?
Let's ask the actual racer.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Well, we just talked about 10-minute race, so qualifying is actually really important.
Yeah, Lewis.
All right, sorry.
So yeah, I would say it's really, really important actually.
Yeah, I agree with you, Moritz.
You always do. That's good.
He has no opinion. He's just like, no, I'm gonna side with Moritz. I understand that. I wouldn't want to mess with Moritz.
No, I wouldn't. He's unbelievable at drifting at the Norris ring, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean Luke already messed with me, and then I put him on the next to my driver's seat on the Nordschleife.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Then he didn't mess with me anymore.
No, that's true.
You took him around for a lap of the Nordschleife.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
In what car?
My BMW.
Nice, pretty quick.
Yeah, it's got his name in the window and everything, so yeah, that adds like an extra 20 brake horsepower.
Oh, was it actually in the...
I think the smell is still in this car. and this was nearly 6 months ago.
Oh dear.
It probably is, yeah.
Horrendous.
I got given a lap around the Nordschleife in a 2008 Mazda 3 driven by Nicholas Hillebrand. So,
Nice. Did you have a driver laughing at you as you're screaming like a little girl?
I didn't scream. The car wasn't fast enough.
Honestly, I was screaming.
It was a good fun lap though.
I was screaming like I was an 8-year-old girl. Yeah.
Do you know I could imagine that? I could absolutely imagine that.
Yeah, it was.
I thought
fun.
he was playing, but he was not. He was
It's
100% serious
on
about
Instagram,
it.
to be fair. BTM actually produced it nicely, but yeah, so at Luke Crane Official, the video of me and Moritz going around the Nordschleife. But I went around with Nick Hanker first, so my stomach was not in a great place anyway. And there's a lot of movement in my stomach as it's quite big, right? So we took 10 minutes to sort of chill out, and then Moritz was like, "Oh, we'll chill for the first corner," and then just sent it. So I was like, "This is fun."
Yeah,
it was
No,
fun.
we were actually quite chill for the most of the lap.
Don't lie. Don't lie in front of people
until
watching
Brunchen,
the
and at
broadcast.
Brunchen, because there were so many fans standing around, we were like, now we have to push. And then it got really, really loud in the car with Luke.
I was the BOP that he didn't need.
Oh, I
so
see. Well, we should be able to move straight into the grid. Let's take a look at the quarterfinal lower bracket. We can see them on the circuit. Obviously, they'll get their race starts here. Practice starts are underway. Look at YAS HEAT, though.
I know. There we go. We're finally turned up here. That's good to see. Although I think we're transitioning here to the next session, right?
I think they've just reset it, so that's a great sign. But YAS HEAT looking really strong in that qualifier, first and second.
Yeah, YAS HEAT and Veloce, they've got that ability with a touring car to really showcase their skills. I think that's their strength. This is one they have to really pinpoint. This is one they really have to pinpoint to get a big result.
Yeah, we're just hearing a couple of cars disconnected there as they moved into the race, so we'll have to wait for them to rejoin and then get the race underway. Slightly late, but each to their own. It means we can get more time to banter with Moritz. Best track in sim racing. Now I think it's Bathurst.
I think it's Sugo.
He thinks it's Sugo, which I think is a wild choice. What
do you really want to ask me that as a German?
It's going to
track?
I agree with you, Moritz.
If you couldn't pick the Nordschleife,
It would still be the Nordschleife.
Best track.
Here's Arjuna.
It's got to be your home track, surely, Moritz. Got to be.
I gotta say Norris Ring. Yeah.
There you go.
I really.
Yeah.
It's bad that it's only really available on Race Room.
The number one track in sim racing, Norris Ring.
Tough to learn.
If not the Nordschleife, obviously, but
it's a great track. It's a really great track. If you can race on it with the right people and whatnot, it's a great track actually. It looks small. It looks boring, but it's super fun.
It's the track that I had my best ever commentary on for sure. When
Really?
Will Tregurtha, Ben Green going for the title, it was so clean. It was after a load of controversy. Well, you were in the race, Moritz. It was after a load of controversy.
I was in the race for only a couple of laps.
Well, yeah, okay. You partook that weekend. But yeah,
was that the same weekend as the Van der Linde
Van der
stuff?
Linde
Yeah,
and Liam Lawson kind of thing. So we had so much negativity, but the DTM trophy made up for it. It was an incredible race. But actually, you shouldn't have been on the grid, really, Moritz, to be honest. At the start of the weekend, you're like, yeah, because the car was being repaired from the Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was not in good shape.
Because my car was really badly damaged from the second Hockenheim Ring race, and I wasn't sure if I would race at the Norris Ring, my home track, first time ever.
Did you have
But
a
it
couple
happens.
of big shunts?
Unfortunately, yeah. I think the red car somehow was acting like when you do with the Bulls, because everyone just went into my car all the time, every weekend.
Yeah, first round of Loudest Ring last season, Ricky Capo, who you became friends with by the end, but you weren't friends with him on the first weekend, were you?
No, really not. Really not.
Porsche sending you off. Yeah, you had the rough end of the stick. I will say one thing, Moritz. Obviously, you were doing both sim racing and real-world motorsport and being successful in both as well. But you put that tweet out, you said, look, I'm genuinely going to be looking at just sim racing this year. I'm taking a year out of real racing. How much of a difference has that made? Because obviously the results speak for themselves. You had an incredible result with the ESL R1. Has it made a huge difference being able to concentrate on the sim stuff?
Not really, because in 2020 when I did my first, 2021? Yeah, 2021 when I did my first DTM trophy season, I still won ADSC GT Masters Esport. So if you do enough practice and whatever, and like the concentration is there, and the determination, then you can do both. But it's still like, I think for a big championship like ESL, it really makes sense to fully concentrate on that. If the schedule would be right, that if I would be able to do both at the same time and the schedule would allow it, then I think you could do both. But yeah, like this, full concentration on esports.
Speaking of full concentration, it is race time, hopefully this time for real.
Yay, it's a track and cars.
Should we throw Moritz Loner under the bus?
Moritz, take it away.
Take it away, Moritz, off you go.
We are waiting for the green flag, I guess, and it's green, 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 go, go, go. You take it away now.
Oh, he bailed out of that one pretty quick. He bailed out of that one pretty quick. Burst had a better start there, getting to the outside of the first corner. Arnage competition on the inside. There's a YAS HEAT almost spinning around. Good catch, though.
Oh, look at this. So Burst Esport, a.k.a. Blast Esports, currently reside in 2nd and 4th position. So they've done a very good job here at the start, but YAS HEAT absolutely looking to sweep one around the outside, and by the time they come across the start-finish line, it's absolutely done and dusted. Brilliant bit of a lock-up there, actually, from the rear left. But ultimately, the job is done. Almost a bit of contact between the two YAS HEAT cars again. Going to give props where it's due. They've given us 2 different colours in terms of the wing mirrors and the trim at the front of the front splitter. It's nice to see the YAS HEAT are looking after the commentators here. But yeah, that's a lovely move there from Simoncic. Simoncic, who had a bit of a disappointing day yesterday, but right now, wow, it's looking great for Burst, isn't it? Currently got P1, P5. They've also got backup in P9. Right now, YAS HEAT have got 2 cars up there. So it looks like those are the 2 teams that will be going through. Who's the 3rd team? Who are we looking at for the 3rd team?
I'm thinking Fordzilla potentially. Apex.
Fordzilla. Yeah, you're right.
7th and 11th, so that's 18 points. Fordzilla have 18 points as well, so it would be Apex because Manuel Kubo running in that 7th position. That's where we're standing at right now.
We've got to look at Payev and Kubo, surely. That's got to be the battle we look at here because it's in Payev's hands. If he makes the one overtake, he takes Fordzilla through. And what a story that would be. Again, filling their team quota for this. Fair play again, thankful for that, and ultimately it'd be great to see them go through and continue this competition.
Yeah, Manuel Kubo trying to find his way past Sean Arnold, but realistically his attention needs to be making sure that he keeps Fordzilla behind, but he can't fight that one too much because if Davin Rotchek has any form of issue with Juan Manuel Gomez comes through, then again, Fordzilla will gain an extra point and they'll be moving their way through. We're looking for the top 3 teams here, and right now as they drag their way up the hill, it's a fight for survival, and that is a great move, the drag off the final corner as they head round to the start-finish straight. It could be a move made from the Apex Racing team and a move lost to Fordzilla in mid-swing.
Certainly is, but it looks like Fordzilla are sorting themselves out, trying to get the slipstream and follow the Apex car through. But that is a 2-position swing. Fordzilla have lost out here. It's now side by side between the 2 Fordzilla cars, and Apex not leaving anything out of their hands, getting the job done themselves. That's the best way of doing things. Right now, you're looking at the Fordzilla car there of the YAS HEAT car of Sean Arnold. It's like, just get out of the way. Don't need to do anything here. You got your 2 teammates doing the job. Just don't get involved.
Williams Esports having an absolute mare in this race as well. Moreno Srico, Jack Heathley running 16th and 17th. Dara McCormack 13th, and I've been hearing some technical issues from him. There's a massive issue for Manuel Kubo, who's gone out wide, and it could be that Sean Arnold's come through and Davin Rotchek potentially as well, as there's a hip check between the 2.
Yeah, you just can't turn Sean Arnold off. He just wants to race. He was born racing, I think. He's absolutely looking to go around the outside here. The Apex team have to keep this position, to be completely honest here. Because ultimately, if they make a mistake, it's just going to hand a free ball. That's a massive squeeze there. Arnold's going to appear on your screen once again. There he is. Oh, that's not a good rejoin. Connery is furious.
Yep, Connery Maddock not going to enjoy seeing any of that. But obviously, Payo Pev and Juan Manuel Gomez have come through. And all that Guile Valero has got through on Gomez. It's an absolute cluster in all of that, as Jerne Simoncic will come out of the final corner and rise his way up the hill. Alessandro Ottaviani and Inestrosa behind. It's going to be a 1-4 for Burst. It's going to be a 2-3 for YAS HEAT. Those 2 will definitely be moving on in this competition. We'll potentially be saying goodbye to Williams Esports And then Arnage competition, I don't really know who else. Arnage, Apex, and Fordzilla could
Tied.
all be tied on points, which means it
Arnage
would
have
be
got
Arnage.
it. Arnage have got it by countback, so that they've got the best position.
No, because the Apex Racing team have just gained a spot there. Gal Valero has just got past Juan
Oh,
Manuel
wow.
Gomez. And so as we see them
finish.
coming across the line, we'll have to do the points. I think the Apex Racing team might have it by a point.
14 by 1 point. Wow. Wow, we didn't get to catch the whole race, but we caught the important bit. And that was absolutely exceptional there. Here are your final results. Take it away.
Yep, Yone Simijic taking a victory, as we typically see from Simijic on rFactor 2. Not so much in the Infinity Q50 though, so fair enough to him. You can see the rest of those coming through. Williams Esports will definitely be saying goodbye to. A big shame indeed. Pliszka there for Fordzilla, struggling to get involved, having a retirement in the early stages. He had issues earlier on in the day, as did Alessandro Ottaviani. Jack Keevely could not get into the rhythm of it. David Morocek also got dropped down, obviously courtesy of that incident for YAS HEAT, which I think would probably be a penalty. But then, do you think Kubo might have got a penalty for squeezing off Sean Arnold as well?
Who knows? Yeah, again, that's a steward. That's why they do that, Joe. I'm not interested in getting involved in that conversation. I will say one thing. This is the difference between the likes of Redline and Williams at the moment, is when it's not on their favoured sim, Redline still get a good result. Williams, unfortunately, are going to be one of our first 3 teams to go home.
Yeah.
Interesting race, guys. Unfortunately, I only caught the very tail end of it, so
we did as
unfortunately,
well.
I
Yeah,
guess
same here, don't worry.
I unfortunately joined even later than you, so I literally watched the run out of the final corner, so I'm sure there was something that I think you guys probably caught. In terms of teams that advanced, though, at the very end, looks like the Apex Racing team are going to be able to squeak their way on forward to a semi-final, so another interesting race. Interlagos, it turns out, Luke, can at least have some excitement on the run to the line.
Yeah, 100%. Again, it is a long run from the final corner all the way to turn number 1 with the loud pedal. It is just flat out all the way along there. There's no braking at all, and we see if you can get a really good exit, it's almost impossible to defend against. I will say one thing, though. Apex do love a bit of drama, don't they? They gave us that at Hockenheim. Again, one of my favourite commentary pieces of all time, actually, with Peter Berryman just doing magical things. And they've done it here once again to make themselves, well, or give themselves an opportunity to move through.
Like we said, there was, obviously you missed it, Manuel Kubo had a little bit of contact, a bit of a squeeze with Sean Arnold, which pushed him off. And then he rejoined straight into the middle of pretty much everyone in that fight. So a bit of drama there. We'll have to wait and see if there's going to be a penalty either way. The thing is, if there is a penalty in there, I'm kind of not so sure. YAS HEAT getting a penalty is not a problem, right? Because they were running second and third. They've got like 10 points worth of penalties they can get before they get knocked out here, and they ain't getting that. Let's be real. Burst and YAS HEAT, they're pretty much set and sorted. It's about Apex and Arnage and Fordzilla.
Apex get 1 penalty point, they're done, right?
They're done.
It's
They're
only
out.
1 point between the two.
Exactly.
And the first port of call in terms of a tiebreaker is the penalty system now.
Who are we going to be knocking off of that list? That's the important bit.
Throw on the floor.
I mean, to be fair, we did say, on this list, Fordzilla and Arnage competition are the 2 lower ones, and one of those 2 can definitely be going through here. It's impressive.
I think one team that we know for sure we will be saying goodbye to after their heroic performance yesterday, Williams Esports, just not getting out of the blocks here today, likely going to be saying goodbye to them. We'll let the Steward team have their time to work through plenty of race control decisions. I have no doubt about that. Already see 5 penalty points have gone the way of YAS HEAT, thanks to Short Arnold's rejoin. Maybe not totally unexpected. So I tell you what, guys, why don't we play a little bit of a game since we've got some time? Let's play Guess the Team.
Is there a little jingle here we can listen to? No?
I wish. You can make...
Guess the team. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
That's a radio.
There we
DJ
go.
I've seen one.
Everyone's now going, I hope they get internet issues now. I start singing.
So we got the jingle. The way this was going to work is we were going to use the whiteboard, but unfortunately we haven't really eliminated any teams just yet. Nope. So I'm going to give you guys 1 clue at a time.
Oh, okay.
Whoever gets the team first wins. As simple as that. Got it?
Okay, what's the buzzer noise? Okay, cool.
You just say the team name. We'll make it even simpler.
No, I'm going to do a buzzer. I think we need to buzzer.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so you can be creative with your buzzer noises. Okay. Team number 1. They've competed twice in the finals of a regular ERL event back in 2022.
There's a lot of teams that come under
Veloce.
that.
No.
RHG.
No.
Oh, okay. On to the next clue.
Has the 2nd most individual race wins scored by a driver over the course of the ERL.
Oh! It's not Unicorns of Love, is it?
Well, that's your guess, I guess.
Yeah, it is my guess.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're bad at this.
Yeah, we are really bad at it. I'm going to go for Apex Racing Team.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, they've only got to 2. Really?
Mate,
Apparently.
I'm right, okay? Don't
It's
try
why.
to question
Yeah,
it.
it's why I thought
Also, Arjun is the question master, so don't give him jip.
Unicorns of Love. You calm down. Gav,
What are you asking them to change the answer?
Well,
No,
Unicorns
no,
of Love
no.
have been in many more finals because weren't they in? No, that would have been 2 technically.
They've
You're
only been
right.
in 2. So
Yeah.
I think you need to pump the brakes there, sir.
Well, so I mean, technically you weren't wrong, but the
Thank
next
you.
clue
But no,
was going to
what-
be.
Technically, he was wrong because
I
I was
didn't get
right.
it right.
Arjun. Okay.
So,
Right.
so score is 1
1-0.
Luke, 0 Lewis. Okay,
Absolutely.
we'll go on
1-0.
to now team number 2. I don't think this is a clue that you want to be associated with, but accumulated the most penalty points over the entirety of 2022.
Ballas?
Ah, that's literally what
I
I
knew you were going there.
Yeah.
I knew you were going there. No, it's not going to be Ballas. That's not actually my guess. I don't have one for this. I don't really know which one.
Okay, so I'm gonna. We both got to throw a guess anyway.
Okay.
You gotta give it a go.
I'm going to say YAS HEAT.
Ooh.
Nope.
Today. To be fair.
I'm going to go Williams.
No.
Ooh.
It's only because
has
Jack
scored-
Keithley's in the team.
has scored 3 drivers' race wins over the course of the ERL. So that means in an individual race, their driver has won.
Burst.
BS competition.
No, both Bs there. I'm gonna switch the order of these final clues because the next one is way too obvious. Is P3 in the standings after day 1 of the World Cup?
Oh, who finished third?
Team Redline.
No, Redline
Oh
were
no, they got
fourth.
switched.
Redline were fourth. Who switched with them?
RAG. RAG.
Was it RAG?
No, I don't know.
No. It was, it might
Okay,
be
I'm
RAG.
going to the next one. I'm going to the next one because
Okay.
now it's going to be obvious. Their lead driver's first name is Dominic.
Oh,
Triton.
Triton. Yeah.
Oh, I got it before you.
Yeah, he did.
I think Luke technically will get
Yeah,
the point
Ivan
there,
Drago.
but
Ivan Drago. Yeah,
Ivan
no,
Drago.
no, I'll allow that. I'll allow that. That's fine.
What we got from that though is we're both useless.
We're both
yes.
totally useless.
No, we're going to give. I think we should
didn't even
give half
remember who
points.
finished third. Yes, it was literally 24 hours ago. Terrible.
We'll give half points for that one because you needed all the clues. Okay, team number 3. They have competed in all 3 of the cups and all of the Masters.
Oh, see,
Team
that's
Redline.
we've talked about this before. Yeah, Team Redline. I mean, Apex. And yeah, sure. Even though it's not Apex.
Nope. Has 2 drivers currently, or at least had 2 drivers coming into today in the top 6 or whatever it was for the most valuable drivers.
Oh, RAG.
No, Unicorns of Love.
Nope.
Oh.
What?
It's coming from real world racing. Well, hello everyone. Apologies for the continued technical difficulties. We are back for now. Just to let you know, if unfortunately these difficulties don't go away and our stream does die, we will unfortunately call the broadcast. We will continue the racing action, and so you can stay involved across of social media. VCO Esports, your place to stay up to date. Gents, unfortunately, we were rudely interrupted as we were having our fun little game of Guess the Team. I'm going to call it 1.5 to 1. Luke is our champion.
Yeah.
It was 1.5 to 1. Luke is our winner, so you can celebrate as the Guess the Team champion. But we can focus in
I
now.
want to thank my mum,
Yep.
my dad,
Yep.
both very important people to this.
Not your kids.
And I really want to thank Enzo Benito.
Enzo Benito, his love interest. Valentine,
There
actually.
we go.
Back.
It's almost time though to focus up for the semi-finals. Qualifying already in the books, ready of course to punch 3 more teams forward to the final. And Luke, of course, here they're looking to match up with those 3 teams rather that have already worked their way to the finals and are watching on, trying to judge the competition.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you've got, if you want the big points, if you want to win the weekend, you have to make 3 finals, minimum. I don't think you can make just a semi-final, and that's your, and then potentially win 2. I still don't think that's enough. I think you have to consistently make the final, so yeah, vital that you get yourself into that final.
Yeah, agree. Well,
It's going to be the unicorn.
Oh, go on. No, carry on.
I was just going to say, it's the Unicorns of Love, Veloce, Triton, Burst, YAS HEAT, and the Apex Racing team, the 6 teams that we're going to see do battle here. I mean, in your opinion, Lewis, who do you think are the favorites to work their way forward from here?
It's like I said, it's not an easy one. Triton Racing, I definitely think are right up there. We saw them actually really fast.
But they're hot from the last race. They look really good.
YAS HEAT were very impressive in the previous race, and then I'd say Burst as well. Burst also were, they were in the same kind of category. Simitic winning the quarterfinal. So I would say those three: Triton, Burst, YAS HEAT. But it's very hard to count any of the other three out.
No, I agree.
I think your point, YAS HEAT, I think they're definitely one to watch. I think the Apex Racing team are going to feel quite fortunate just to have gotten out. Let's go to the semi-finals, though.
Here we go, then, ladies and gentlemen, cars. And well, we've got a Veloce car at the front here, down through turn number 1. Versus, we've got Unicorns of Love, we've got a couple of YAS HEAT cars, and well, we've also got a Triton car facing the wrong way. Oh dear, that is a car park here at the Interlagos circuit, as we see 7 wide. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, so that's a solid 0 out of 10. Well, at least we're getting some racing action. There is something to do with that. More drama in the background. This race has been completely thrown open. Unicorns of Love in a good position. Burst in a good position. Veloce in a good position at the moment.
Gillison rolling back those years. He's up in the lead there. 4/10 of a second in the lead. Unicorns of Love again. They will be super happy if it stays like this. It looks like they're almost going to be guaranteed to go through. I think Veloce are in a great spot. And then who is it between? I think it's Burst, right? Apex is not going to go through. Burst looking great. Simoncic there and Hoyer. But I will say one thing. Veloce had a car involved in the incident there, and so did Triton. But although Triton are not really in the hunt for it here at all. So, of course, we're going to have to go to the stewards' room because that was an absolute cluster of races. We see Apex versus Veloce. About to see it happen once again here. Who was that? Gal Valero and Marco Pajic?
Manuel Kubo and Marco Pajic.
Oh, there we go.
Getting his way past. Gal Valero's just waiting off the rear end of that as they head through the third sector. And, not ideal ways to start this race. And I can almost guarantee we're going to have a delay before we get into the final because race control will spend a fine time going over that incident because it wasn't exactly small.
No, but by the way, the liveries have confused me here. I don't think Veloce were anything a part of that. I'm used to seeing them in a white livery, I think they're golden here. This is a really good... Again, I'm telling you, YAS HEAT and Veloce have the ability, with the superstars they have in terms of the car we're using, to pull off an upset. They really do. So you have to see them in this position, potentially making their way to the final. They could throw a spanner in the works to the big dogs like Redline.
Yes, indeed. There is a lot of noise going on in here. That's because people are having a great time doing a little endurance
everyone's laughing
race.
at the Ferrari team strategy.
Yeah, there is. Well, they're not laughing at our commentary, are they?
No,
are they?
certainly not.
No? Okay, good, because we're not funny. Isaac Gillison, like you say, rolling back the ears, he's right at the front of the field and looking very strong. 5 different teams inside that top 5. Veloce, Unicorns of Love, YAS HEAT, Triton, and then Burst. Of course, Jone Simoncic already a race winner today in the quarterfinal lower bracket as we see some more side-by-side coming up towards the middle sector.
Yeah, I say, look at Inestrosa. So Inestrosa is currently on 3 points, and then who's the nearest driver of him? 17, wouldn't it, with Sean Arnold down in P14 as it stands. And then where is the next? So Burst right now are quite good on 11. Unicorns of Love are good, and Veloce, so it's looking pretty obvious who's going to go through at this stage. But, well, we've got Gianmarco Fiducci trying to defend for his life with Guile Valero. Valero then forced to take a little bit of grass action there. Fiducci proving why he is a bit of a specialist with the touring cars.
Cannot afford to get a penalty though.
No.
Really cannot afford to get a penalty whilst Isaac Gillison's leading the race, whilst Marco Pajic is 9th. Whilst they're in a decent spot, as a third driver...
Taking Pajic.
Exactly. As a third driver though, if you get a penalty, just because you're the third driver and you're not scoring points for the team, your penalties still count towards the team. So you cannot afford to pick those up, as we'll potentially see a move down into turn 1. Dominic Blyer's meaning business.
Yeah, Blyer looking to go up into the podium positions here. Inestrosa holding that outside line. It's an absolute send then from the Triton Racing team's Dominic Blyer. Blyer's going to get squeezed there for sure. Yeah, a little bit of contact between the two. But as it's said and done through the centre S's, well, no, to be fair, Blyer's just pulled out there. He's gone very slow. And now he's going over to defend from the burst/blast esports car of Jone Simoncic. And yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there. I think that was a little bit naughty, if we're going to be honest, there from Inestrosa.
Yeah, Inestrosa took too much of the curb at T1, obviously pushed out.
I don't think it was intentional, you're right.
No,
by the way, sorry.
No,
it was a lot of curb, but yeah, a little bit naughty.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's like Blyer had to run back onto the circuit. I thought he was just going to come straight back through, but then obviously we're not really 100% sure as to why. Maybe had a bit of a loss of grip on the rear end, up towards the front, bit of a lock up from Isaac Gillison. And like I said, Tobias Grunewald, Mitty Tausch was also applying quite a lot of pressure to Jone Simoncic in the form of going completely wide, taking another Verstappen line through turn 4, going way out wide, as we'll see them head through this middle sector up towards the final part of the lap. Dominic Blyer, I think at the moment, unfortunately, it looks like his penultimate day as a Triton Racing driver might come to a close in 5.5 minutes time.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, but Blyer has been exceptional this weekend so far. Of course, to be fair, we've still got tomorrow on iRacing.
Absolutely.
Will he be racing
no,
on iRacing?
he is. He's doing all 3 days.
There you go. So we've still got
Racing.
one more day of Dominic Blyer, which is great to see. Isaac Gillison, 2019 McLaren, or Logitech McLaren G Challenge champion in Vegas on a LAN event. So he has not really put in a huge performance in an individual championship for a very long time. So this is really nice to see from him right at the front. And again, someone who's been putting a bit more effort into the real life racing. Doing a stellar job right now. P1 here, backing up his team hugely. And even if he drops one position with Pajic, Mad Dog Pajic being in P9, they're looking really, really good.
There could be a switch for the race lead here as Gronewold's got to the inside on the run of the Retta Aposta as he's got to the inside. Gronewold for Unicorns of Love trying to send it through to take over the race lead and certainly does so. So the race lead goes its way of Unicorns of Love, 1st and 6th in this race. Also seeing a couple of switches as Gar Valero and Gianmarco Verducci continues to battle out, but Manuel Kubo has managed to make his way past the Burst Esports driver of Michi Hoyer. Now, the Apex Racing team certainly aren't out of it necessarily, but with 3.7 seconds up towards Michi Tauscher, realistically they need some drama for Michi Hoyer, and they need Gar Valero to find his way through inside that top 10 as well.
Yeah, they also need Simitis to drop down, to be honest. That's really, I think that's the key position here, P5, and kind of sandwiched right now between Tauscher and Dominic Blyer. Blyer having to make moves forward, but I don't think Michi Tauscher is going to really put too much pressure on here. It doesn't need to. They're in a really good spot here. P1 and P6, it's going to be 7 points. 7 points is what they were getting every day pretty much yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Every race, yesterday. So now they're back into that groove. A big opportunity here. And Unicorns of Love, they were, one of the worst teams when it came to rFactor and iRacing previously across the last 12 months, but they have improved here. This is really, really good to be in the top 6 teams into the final. They would have loved that, and maybe they could spring an extra surprise. Although Isaac Gillison looking to sneak one up the inside, retake the lead here, and they're playing a bit of leapfrog, although the group behind are now catching up. The lead group is now 5 cars.
Yeah, Angel and Strozer was almost trying to get back involved in this. 3rd and 4th in this train, they're not teammates. Yes, they use the same colours, but not teammates. Don't worry, one's Triton Racing, one's YAS HEAT. It's the same blue. It's a wild blue to use, but they've used the same one.
All the blues, they've managed to actually get exactly the same blue. That's crazy.
I've always said the YAS HEAT. Now YAS HEAT have moved on to like yellow for the most part. I'm not a massive fan. I really like this livery. I really like the black and blue on it.
I like their livery
the
when it was
original
an obnoxious, massive YAS HEAT on the side. Very similar to like Team Fordzilla, right? The original liveries they had. But yeah, the obnoxious YAS HEAT on the side, like more cartoony look. But yeah, it's just hard for us as commentators. Marco Pajic looking for a move up the inside of Michi Hoyer. Michi Hoyer, he loves to get fruity when it comes to his live streams, and he is a very what would be the word?
Animated.
Yeah, animated would be one there for sure. Emotional.
Yeah,
emotional streamer as well.
I have a whole folder full of Michi Hoyer gifs on my computer.
What you watch in your personal time, Lewis, is completely up to you, my friend. But let's not bring it onto the broadcast.
I've got some good ones of Pablo.
Michi's going to be furious. Oh, okay, yeah. Everyone's got some good ones of Pablo.
Michi, if you ever, obviously call him Michael Hoyer. Anyway, moving on. 2 minutes left to go in this race. It means we'll have a couple of laps left. Let's see if there's going to be any switches this time on the start-finish straight. I get the feeling that Dominic Blyer might try and get past Angel in a Strozer on the start-finish straight. He'll get to the outside going up towards the first corner. You can absolutely send it in inside or outside of this first corner. What makes it so good into Lagos, and whilst we might get a little bit bored of it, it is a great racetrack. Triton Racing taking over 3rd position. Big slip and slide rather from YAS HEAT, as I was slipping and sliding all over my words.
Yeah, that was interesting to say the very least. Front 6 here, kind of an interesting situation because Veloce don't really want to do too much here. They don't want to make too many mistakes. Unicorns of Love are kind of happy in the positions they are. And then you've got Jone Simičić, who doesn't really need to get involved in anything either because they're likely to go through here. But they've got the wild card of Dominic Blyer that will want to go out with a bang here. Will want to try and at least have a podium and then potentially go out there and win the race as well. So, yeah, Dominic Blyer is the one who's really going to upset the apple cart of this six-car train.
Florian's doing his best to update all of the points as fast as possible. And at the moment, Unicorns of Love, 8 points to them, as you were saying. Veloce with 10 points, Burst with 13. All clear of Triton Racing, who have 17, joint with YAS HEAT, 4th and 5th. And the Apex Racing team in 19.
I did wonder why Florian was sweating so much, and he's just like...
He's trying to get all these numbers right.
Like a typewriter.
It's very hard. I also did the spreadsheet, for myself. Sometimes it's impossible to do. It's so hard to track I mean, it's only 18 drivers. You think, surely, yeah, they're not changing every single lap.
Not only is Florian posing at the start with his wrestling mask and his shirt off and that great body, but he's also doing the points for us here as well.
Hot bod.
Hot bod. Hot bod Florian.
That's what they call him on the streets.
Exactly.
That's what they call him in Pop World.
In Pop World, yeah. Can't wait to see the hot bod in Pop World.
Well, 20 seconds left to go, final lap, and let's see if Jane Simoncic might get involved into the mix, because he's got double side-by-side ahead. Isaac Gillison's trying to take over the race lead once more, but he backs out of it, almost 3 wide on the start-finish.
Oh, Dominic Blyer, absolute Sen City once again, and gives an opportunity, actually, for Simoncic to get involved. Remember, we've got the most valuable driver, and with, of course, Darren McCormack not being in the championship anymore today, Dominic Blyer with a chance to close that gap, of course, had a really good day yesterday. So, yeah, Blyer needs to just stay in that top 3 for his own personal achievements. It's not going to work out for the team, unfortunately, for him. But that is just the way the cookie indeed crumbles.
Yep, looking for his last podium here on rFactor 2 on day 2, because, like I say, we're not going to see him anymore, but he's just keeping himself in touch in the MVD standings. Did really, really well yesterday to get involved with Darren McCormack on there. And we'll see how well he does on iRacing tomorrow, because, to be fair, he's no slouch in the iRacing platform, and that Lotus 79 is a wild card car, if ever I've seen it, into this middle sector where we start going down the hill. That's where we saw the incident in the quarterfinal lower bracket, where we that very big incident with YAS HEAT and whatnot. At the moment, there's only 2 penalty points dished out in this race. That is towards the Apex Racing 2, who were 19th and last in this session. For the top 3, there is no real worries for them at the moment.
No, absolutely not. And talking about Dominic Blyer has been a very good sim racer for a very long time. But again, for me, similar to Marcel Shinchik, they've just hit that next level. As Isaac Gillison, well, tries his absolute best here to throw away a P2. How close is Blyer? Not close enough. We're about to come across the line then for our semi-final. Unicorns of Love. Well, they're springing a surprise here, ladies and gentlemen, because they take P1, and it looks like P5 with Michi Tauscher. Isaac Gillison gets himself P2. Dominic Blyer for the MVD gets himself another podium. Jene Simoncic leads for Burst Esports in P4, with Michi Hoyer backing him up in P8. So for me, it's Unicorns of Love they're going to go through. It is Veloce they're going to go through, and Burst/Blast Esports.
Yeah, YAS HEAT losing out a few positions as well late on in that race, so they've dropped right the way down the order as we take a little bit of a look as to the air above the Interlagos circuit as the final result.
Here we go, the official results. We've got Tobias Grunewald of Unicorns of Love taking P1, Isaac Gillison for Veloce Esports taking that second spot. Dominic Blyer does get that podium for Triton. We've got Jene Simoncic for Burst. Michael Tauscher then in 5th position for Unicorns of Love. Angel Inastroza for YAS HEAT. Manuel Kubo for Apex. Michi Hoyer for Burst. Marco Mad Dog Pajic for Veloce. And Gal Valero rounds out your top 10 for Apex Racing Team.
Oh dear, I've just been sent a really good Michi gift from Dennis Schoniger. It's so good. It's such a good one. There you go.
Oh, Michi Hoyer. Michi Hoyer loves.
Poor Michi Hoyer.
Some angriness.
Obviously, we're not going to talk about it on stream because it's fine. It's just. I'm pretty sure you can find it by just typing in Michi Hoyer GIF. After that race, we'll bring back in Arjuna, and like you say, it does seem as though before we've dealt with race control, Unicorns Love, Veloce, and Burst in that. So interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see too many changes courtesy of race control there. Triton Racing and YAS HEAT, both of the teams, I think. Both you guys called out before that semi-final. Doesn't look like they're going to make their way through, guys.
Oh, okay, Arjuna.
Commentator's curse, Lewis. It exists.
No, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's not my fault if they've done badly.
I'm going to stop talking about it, though, to be honest.
Yeah, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but you talk about it.
Yeah, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. If you think the commentator's curse exists, I don't care. It doesn't. Moving on.
Moving on, indeed. I tell you what, we'll give race control a few moments just to finish up those numbers very quickly. But I tell you what, we've been working our way through a whole bunch of these teams and talking about their journey in 2022. Let's talk a little bit about Burst Esports and take a look at their lineup for the World Cup.
Last.
Burst Esports, who finished 11th in the Esports Racing League, made it to both the Spring as well as the Summer Cup Masters, although it's fair to say luck did not go their way. They walked away with just the solitary 1 point out of those. Burst Esports, a team that, Luke, we've seen plenty of strong pace from on occasion, but I think, like you allude to quite frequently, we see plenty of blasting from them as well.
Yeah, it's very similar to Triton. It's kind of either you get the really good or the not so good. I will say Umeshima, it's been like watching him grow up right before our very own eyes, right? He seems to get quicker and quicker and quicker, so I think there's a future superstar in there as well. But they do just keep producing really good drivers. Like, even if you're not the best team in this final right now, like, you're still to be here, you're still an incredible driver to be involved in the team who's made it to the final 12. Like, these are some of the best, if not the best, drivers in the world, right?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Kazuki Umeshima does tomorrow. Of course, we go racing in iRacing. You will see him back into the car alongside Michi Hoyer and Jone Sivicic. Jone Sivicic being that open wheel specialist. Tomorrow being the Lotus 79. Kazuki Umeshima, I do remember being the proper standout driver for Burst when we did the first ERWC, when we took the V8 supercar around Okayama. And I kind of wonder if, Lotus 79, it's a pretty hard car to drive. V8 supercar's a pretty hard car to drive. They're very, very different, of course. But I just wonder if it might lean towards Umeshima's driving style once again, and with his maturity even more so over the last year, it was something special.
I find it interesting we're talking about his maturity over the last year, given this is a man that has been around the block for quite a while, going back to the iRacing Grand Prix World Championship days. We saw his simulator setup in the World Cup. He still races on a single screen. He is one of the old school there and has really not evolved his hardware setup as the rest of the industry has kind of really leveled itself up. We've got plenty of time before the finals, by the way. I do think that the results of the semi-finals should be confirmed in a moment's time. But I tell you what, since we've got this time, why don't we dive back in to guess the team and see if we can actually... I've got more of them. We had quite a few more still left to go.
Right.
So,
12.
to recap... to recap the state of play, I think technically we were going to say it was 1.5 to 1 to
I think
Luke.
we finished the segment, to be honest. I think it's probably done.
No, I'm ready for more.
I'm not sure we should do any more.
I'm ready for more. I'm ready to... Well, no, you've just got to prove yourself as being much better. Oh, yeah.
All right, Barry.
Baz is on the screen.
The pufferfish is back. So I tell you what, 1.5 to 1. I'll move on over to now our fourth team, and again, one by one, I'll work through the clues, and you guys can throw your guesses out there. So this team, I'm going to mix these orders up just a little bit because Florian, who provided me the clues, has made your life way.
No suspense.
He's really filling for time. We're waiting for the finals to come up. He's like, no.
I'm trying. So this team finished last on day 3 of the ERWC on iRacing.
Unicorns of Love.
Unicorns of Love.
Is it
Luke's
really?
now 2 point. Yep, 2.5
do you know
to
how I
1.
know that? It's because when Arjuna was
He was listening to Red A.
Yeah, I was listening to it. He mentioned it. Yeah. So. I mean, hold on. I've done my research. I know all the results.
Yeah, I'm
professional.
Absolutely trounced it. It makes sense though. You're a better commentator than me.
Oh, stop it. You're right, though. You are right. I'm awful. You look at Twitter, I'm awful.
Yeah. Well, I just shout, apparently.
We are running out of teams, so
you do shout at people a lot. Sorry, Arjun.
We got three more of them. The next one is qualified for ERWC II with over 200 points in the Esports Racing League. No.
Not Redline.
RHG.
Not Redline. Yes, Luke is too good at this.
No, it was either Redline or RIG because Redline was second. There was like Redline had like 236 points, didn't they?
Yes, but technically there were 4 or 5 teams that scored more than 200.
Really?
So Luke,
when you make your own question and then answer it, Lewis, it's not impressive.
No, I'm filling in the more details at home. That's okay. This guy.
Wow.
Oh,
so
I
Luke
nearly
is
called you something that's very not appropriate for air.
Luke is now 3.5 to 1, dominating.
Yeah, I get it.
Just so you're clear, Lewis, you've got to get these next 2 in order to restore some pride. You've still lost. Technically, Luke has already won.
No, I'm giving these to Luke, like I did that Clio race the other day.
Okay, sure. This team qualified as a top 5 team in the ERL for the ERWC II.
The Apex Racing team. It's just such a vague. It's such a vague thing.
BS competition.
Luke again.
They're so vague. It's just a wild guess, man.
You could throw me under the bus, but I'm going to throw Florian Hasper under the bus because
so vague. That'd be like, I don't know, white, blue, and grey car. Like, ooh, who knows?
Well, there was
I'm
the
furious.
final clue there is known for its stripes. So if I had said that one, I think if you couldn't get it, I'd be a little bit more worried. Final one though, and this should be pretty easy. This is a team that has won every single VCO Simi award for the best team so far.
Redline.
There we go. Luke gave you that one, to be fair.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. But like, no, cut. No, I'm furious.
4.5 to 2. Luke is still our champion. We even gave Lewis an extra chance. There we go. Shake the hands.
Yes, fun.
Part of me genuinely was like, I was
Do I
like,
get one of your simmies or something for that?
No, I know.
You nearly swore then.
It was very close. Thankfully, the audio in the background's covering me up here.
That should have been the stakes. Here's a look at the bracket, those who get set, though, guys, to head to the finals.
Oh, cool. Does that mean we get the board out?
We have to read this because Arjuna can't. So it's Team Redline. Did you get the other ones that are kicked out of this? So obviously YAS HEAT. We can pull these off now.
Yeah. Okay. You read them out for me then.
YAS HEAT.
Yeah.
Get them gone.
YAS HEAT. Oh, no comedy affected because we're not on camera, so we'll wait for it to be on camera.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see Redline, BS Competition, RHG, Unicorns Love, Veloce, and Burst will be the ones battling it out. So YAS HEAT.
See you later.
Peace. Apex.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, lads.
They were making love to Burst Esport, but they're not anymore. See you later.
Peace. YAS HEAT. Bye. Oh, no, we've done that on Triton.
Triton? Where are they?
Yep.
Oh, we put them right at the top here as well.
Yeah,
well, Triton.
No, you put them right at the top to clarify. You commentators curse them. Arnage competition.
Arnage, that's a big square. This should go for miles here. Might end up in Northampton. See you later.
Team Fordzilla.
Team Fordzilla. Oh,
right at the bottom.
Big disc there.
Yeah, that one should fly. That one should fly quite nicely.
Oh, nearly got the camera.
Nice.
So close. I'm not trying to aim for it though.
And the final one is Williams.
Oh, Williams are gone. Oh,
sorry,
no.
lads.
See you later.
That one went miles. That one's all the way over there.
Yes.
Goodness me.
Yeah, that's gone.
He's such a strong
I was
boy.
aiming for Ireland.
Oh, yeah? Just to send it all the way back to
Derry.
For Derry. Yeah.
Good Derry.
So there we go. RHG, Redline, Veloce, Burst, BS Competition, and Unicorns of Love. That's it. I've got nothing more to say on that.
Nice.
I'm still furious. I'm just furious.
What, furious that the clues were so vague, to be clear?
Well, I'm more furious that Luke's better than me at that.
He's
but,
angry at losing.
Good,
Just not really bothered about winning, so it's even worse for him.
Yeah.
I tell you what, guys, semi-finals are officially now confirmed in the book, so we get set for these finals, and I think what's going to be a quite interesting set of finals. Moritz Loner was pretty quick there, Lewis, to call you out and say that he thinks qualifying is very important in these short races. He was not willing to let you go with that one.
No, I get where he's coming from because they're such short races, not much you can do. But I think because of how the slipstream and such is, you know, it's less important. But obviously, we saw it there in the race start. I mean, it was chaos. I don't want to be involved in any of that. If you're in that sort of...
Luckily, you're not fast enough to be on that grid, so you can't get involved in it.
So, I think we're all kind of on the same page here, guys. Redline likely to advance to the showdown. Luke, who do you think can advance along with them?
Any one of 6. I think it's, it's going to... 3 of 6, or 2 of 6, or 4 of 6. I don't know, 2 of them, innit? 2? Yeah, 2. 2 of 6. I don't know.
He's done the research on the teams, but not on the format. I reckon it'll be Redline and RHG.
Yeah, same. I think we're going to see a final we've seen before. I'm intrigued to see that. I am not sure anyone's capable of beating Redline today.
I don't believe so either.
Agree.
We have seen this before, where they've dominated and then been pegged back by Apex, of course. We've seen it from RHG, give them a real big run. RHG haven't managed to topple them. Is today the day that they get that opportunity and actually topple them? I'm not sure it's possible, but who knows?
The thing is, they've got 3 drivers, right, with Marcel Chinchik, who has been...
I think he's reached a different level. That's the difference between 12 months ago and now, I think.
Marcel Chinchik's mad at the moment, like absolutely incredible, so consistent, and actually really, really mature with his timing stuff. We saw that a couple of weeks ago at ESLR1. Timotej Andonovski, who's not the calmest individual, but is mighty fast and Macedonian. And Thibaut Kazamon being their 3rd driver, who...
He's pretty calm.
He is pretty calm, but does he have the pace to go after... yeah, I don't... does he have the pace to go after Redline?
No, I think Marcel Chinchik's special. I think he's reached that
So
level.
Gingy is the one that has to.
I think he's genuinely got the ability to drag that team to a result.
So I think one thing that is important to bring up, guys, it's not the first time we've seen Redline and RAG in a final on rFactor 2 before.
In a touring car.
In a touring car. And the previous times that we've seen them be in the finals together, Lewis, it's been feisty, I think, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I mean, that round at Donington, it wasn't quite what we saw. No, actually, no. I'd put it in the same category as what we saw last night. It was brutal. I remember there being a lot of incidents, and I remember RAG being as near as makes a difference penalised out of the competition.
I also found that there was
day.
fire in the game, so that was a positive for me.
That is
That's
true.
These are also two teams that I think it's fair to say over the course of the ERL came to blows quite a few times and maybe don't have the best relationship with one another.
I'm not sure. I think RAG have kind of painted themselves as the bad guys of everybody, so I don't think it matters who they're against. Like, they are... I like it. I want to see characters. I want to see people be...
I want to see them staying off Twitter.
Be the pantomime villains. Yeah, well, no, I like it. Get on with it. If you want to be the bad guys, be the bad guys. But on the flip side, you have to back that up.
Yeah.
Time winding down and qualifying, I will tell you what, Redline advanced to the finals, finishing 1, 2, and 3. They're not on provisional pole right now. It's a certain R8D driver, Marcel Chinchik, that currently has the benchmark in qualifying. So already some shots being fired here by R8D looking to take the challenge. PH is up there in the fight as well. Ferris Stanley is someone that, Luke, we have seen some impressive speed from here today.
Yeah, incredible. It's someone who's just, again... what I meant about Umashima, by the way, obviously we know he's been around for a long time. I was talking about within our competition.
Yeah, the maturity.
Like just seeing him grow within the competition, because he's much more used to motorsport, right? Like motorsport formats, whereas this is more of an esports format. So it's harder for him to sort of adapt because he is one of the old guard. But Ferris Stanley, I come across him a few years ago in the G Challenge on ACC. Only raced ACC as far as I was aware from that point, and actually wasn't even really the best in the region, but since he's been given that shot by BS competition, since he's been given a shot by, and it didn't even necessarily have to be BS, right? It was just a big team have gone, right, we believe in you, has just reached a different level. And today,
he's proved it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a car that they have not had much time to prepare in, and he's proving that he has that raw pace, but also backing up in the races now as well. So Ferris Stanley, I think this might be the championship where he announces himself as a potential future superstar in sim racing.
Yep, I think we've definitely seen the best out of him. I think qualifying has at least come to a close. Chinchik not on top. It's Luke's favorite, Enzo Benito, that is going to emerge at the very top of qualifying. Still wait to see if that's going to be finalized as we get ready to go for the final. Remember, we'll whittle down 6-2 and then go for that one-on-one showdown to not just crown the best of the day here on rFactor 2. $2,500 in prize money on the line as well. And of course, the points that will build up to tomorrow's grand showdown where we'll crown the champions of the world. We'll give them $10,000. And of course, that belt that's right next to you, Lewis.
Yeah, it's the one that I've worn plenty of times, so you get a little bit of my sweat with it as well. So extra little treats.
Lovely. Bonus.
Little treats for you.
You now see Redline throwing.
Well, to be fair, no, it's fine. No, we're not going to talk about that. All this prediction and stuff behind us. So Ferris Stanley
Ferris.
moving up there onto pole position in the final moments of the session. Enzo Benito and Marcel Chinchik. And then we've got Marco Pate. So 4 different teams inside that top 4. The next team that we see will be Redline, Kevin Siggy, and Jeffrey Rietveld, 5th and 6th. Rainer Talvar, though, for BS competition, not the driver that I thought would be the second in the team in this car. I would have put that on Ibrahim Khan. So at the moment, if everything were to finish as it is qualified, I believe it would be Redline and BS competition. We'll see the rest of them as they line up, burst all the way down the order. But look at these margins. Half a second off, and you're 15th. You're at the back, basically.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I was saying, right? If you made it to this stage of the competition, that any of the top 12 teams, you're quick. If you've made it to the last 6 teams, you're even quicker, right? So, yeah, it's so close, and I'm really excited for Ferris Stanley. Fair play. Like, really is growing to be that superstar that I believe he can be.
I mean, the thing is with Ferris is that he's had flashes before. The thing is to back up exactly what you're saying, is we are seeing consistent flashes from him now. We're seeing him not appearing at the front once or twice and being like, oh, wow, how cool. We're seeing him be at the front and then be at the front and then be at the front and then be at the front. It's what I was so impressed with Ibrahim Khan as well and his approach in the Le Mans Virtual as well that was on, obviously, in January. It's such an impressive...
All it takes sometimes is someone to put their arm around you and go, do you know what, I believe in you. I believe in your ability. I believe you can produce something.
Believe in you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I believe in you.
And also, a good result against good drivers where maybe you've never beat them before, and maybe that's been the monkey on your back, right? You're like, oh, I can never beat Enzo Benito. It doesn't matter what car I'm in. I can never get ahead of him. I can never get ahead of Dara McCormack. But then you finally get that result, and you're in a great position.
Well, as much as our junior's on our screen, we're going to cut straight away from him because we don't want to see his face. We want to see the grid, and we're going straight to it. It's time for the final then. Of course, the top 2 teams in this will go through. At the moment, we're kind of leaning towards it being Redline and someone. Our estimate was R8G. At the moment, it looks like it could be BS Competition.
Yeah, someone. Yeah, again, BS Competition, this will be a big surprise to me if they do make the final. And they are primed and in position to do so. I think Veloce being in that top 4, they've got a good shot. Isaac Gillison had a great performance when it came to the semi-final coming into this, but he's a bit down the order.
Veristani then will start from an incredible pole position ahead of a Redline. 5 different teams up the order, 4 in that top 4. It's a better start though from the R8G. Thibaut Casabon receives a drive-through penalty though for jumping the race start at the moment. It's much better on the inside from Redline. R8G going from one side of the track to the other and getting right involved with the mix, pushing the R8G through. That's Marcel Cinchik going for it. Veristani still on the inside as they head their way through the second part of the centre S. All 3 of the burst cars was straight over the exit at turn 1 and turn 2, and instantly trying to break the slipstream is your race leader Enzo Benito.
Yeah, Benito taking a lovely lead there down in towards turn number 4. As you can see, the BS Competition car of Ferris Stanley falling down the order and looking likely it could be down to P4, and actually wards off the progress there of the Redline car on the outside. We've also got Marco Pejic, who's now back up to P4, so Marco Pejic really is having to drag that Veloce team, although already Isaac Gillis has made up 2 positions, so Veloce maybe positioning themselves to potentially get themselves towards that final.
Yeah,
the showdown.
Of course. They need to outscore BS Competition at the moment, who are currently 3rd and now 9th. As Reina Talvar's dropping down the order, still plenty of side-by-side. We can see here Thibaut Casabon again with a penalty after jumping the race start. I believe that penalty will stand. I'm not sure they get rescinded in this as they did in ACC yesterday. Big kick of oversteer as well from Kevin Siggy and the likes as they head their way down the hill up towards the final corner. Enzo Benito hanging on to the racing, but he's already been caught by Marcel Cinchik as much as he had a big breakaway that has lasted the entirety of the middle sector, and that's it. Look at that in the background as well. That is Kevin Siggy basically, it might be Jeffrey Rietveld rather, pushing Thibaut Casabon up the hill.
Yeah, and again, Rietveld doesn't really want to get involved here. You know, Kevin Siggy, Benito, they're getting the job done. They're actually in a reverse order of what they finished earlier on. Actually, no, Rietveld was the lead car, Kevin Siggy was the 2nd fastest car, and then Benito was the 3rd fastest car so far. But again, that's how good they are. They're as quick as each other. We've got the Unicorns of Love, Isaac Gillison sandwich as we head down towards turn number 1.
Tasty.
Gillison loses 1 position, and is he going to lose 2? I think he is. And then you've got the R8G car in behind there of Andronowski. So yeah, not ideal there from Gillison. He drops down 1 position in the end. Yeah, Unicorns of Love trying to fight back here. Slipstream's such a big factor. Maybe they can spring a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, especially when you're running like 1st and 2nd in that. When you get the double and triple slipstream, it can be a little bit trickier because it doesn't really make much of a difference comparatively to the car directly ahead. But in this, absolutely, that slipstream of the car. Oh, Marcel Cinchik into the rear end of Enzo Benito. You can't go through like that. We've already seen plenty of contact between R8G and Redline in the past. Seeing a little bit more of it. Marcel Cinchik's getting hungry to make his way through because as much as we were all talking about BS Competition, Thibaut Casabon, he's still in 6th place. Now, if he has to serve that penalty, again, I'm not 100% sure. If he has to serve that penalty, then he'll be dropped straight out of this. But right now, Marcel Cinchik and Thibaut Casabon are the ones in the place.
It's not on the overlay, so I'm assuming that might have been removed there.
It doesn't pop up on the overlay.
Okay,
it doesn't stick
enough.
there on our RF2.
So I guess he's got 3 laps to do that, I would imagine. So he has to come in and serve that if it is the case. And with their 2nd driver, Andronowski, it would be down in P13. It would jump 1 spot with a teammate going through the pits. It's not ideal here for RAG, but as it stands, they would go through. So RAG are in a position to go through if they do not have a penalty to serve. But we believe they do. Ferris Stanley has now just done the best lap time of the race. So he's starting to fly. Marcel Cinchik obviously has to get a move on and try and gain that P1. They have to make up as many positions as possible if they do have that penalty. Ferris Stanley might be in a position to take full advantage, of course. Was on pole position, has dropped down to 3rd, and will be looking to try and get back up into the lead here and try and drag BS Competition to a final.
R8G are asking if they can have it removed, but it has not been removed yet. Either way, Marcel Cinchik has gone down the inside and is attacking Enzo Benito. So that is the race lead going its way of the R8G drivers. They're trying to desperately fight for any position to work their way through into the final. Heading through this double apex corner, there's been an issue in the background. I think Nick Huben and potentially Ibrahim Khan have had some contact. Timotej Andonovski dropping back a couple of positions as well. So the third RHG driver, the potential hope for them, the lifeline for them, is not going to be that. So dropping out right to the back of the order.
Yeah, that's them done. If they do have that drive-through penalty, you say they're asking for it to be removed. That's, I think that's pretty much standard, right? You get a penalty, you at least ask for it to be removed. I'm not sure it will be, though. Marcel Shinchik, though, does go up into the lead. He's trying to do the best he possibly can to drag RHG through to the final. Enzo Benito in second. Ferris Stanley would love to get involved here. Has that double toe to work with. The toe is so strong with this car. It's like a box on wheels. It is a square hole being punched through the air. So you will close up down towards turn number 1. Marcel Shinchik, by the way, has got an incredible run out of the final corner. So he's not going to be under pressure by Benito. I'm pretty sure Ferris Stanley is not closing up down towards turn number 1. It's going to be normal service resume. 5 minutes left of this race. It's RHG in the lead. Redline second. BS Competition third. Then it's another Redline car in fourth position. So Redline are looking good. They are looking strong as there's a battle actually between RHG and Redline. There's, well, yeah, Thibaut. He's still not served it, and he's in the top 5.
Yeah, so what's being said is that RHG, the reason why they've asked for the penalty to be removed is because they believe it's because he rolled back on the start rather than jumping the lights, right? The car was moving; it was outside of its box theoretically when the race began, and so theoretically it is a jump start. You're outside of your starting position. You do have to have 3 feet effectively to start these cars, or at least a handbrake. And alas, that is not the case. And I do believe that from what I'm hearing from race control, they are not going to remove that penalty.
Neither should they. It's a jump start. Doesn't matter whether you go backwards or forwards. You can gain an advantage both ways if you position yourself on a better position on the track. Of course, we've got the uphill and the downhill on the start-finish straight. So yeah, that could be deemed as an advantage.
It sets a dangerous precedent if you remove it. Yeah, for
of course,
you know what I mean.
100% means everybody then can do as they please off the start line. So yeah, Marcel Shinchik has to win basically right now and hope that something magical happens with the rest of his team. Enzo Benito didn't fight, did he, really, with Marcel Shinchik? Doesn't need to before the lead of this race. And again, for Enzo, it is personally a top 3 is good enough for him. He just gets himself that podium for the MVD. But ultimately, you just do not want to lose. You do not want to drop it fighting too hard for the lead when you've got a driver such as Kevin Siggy in P4 backing you up.
Yeah, certainly so. So across the line, I believe that might have been Kazamon coming into the pit lane. He's not done so yet. I can't remember if I think it might be 5 laps in this that they have to set. So Kazamon in 7th position, continuing to run around at the moment. Of course, if he doesn't serve the penalty, it'll be a straight-up DQ. If it, for whatever reason, you can complete enough laps that you don't serve it before the end of the race, then it will be applied as a time penalty for your race time. And by time penalty, I mean not 25 seconds, I mean you get added like 2 minutes to your race time. So you'll be way out of the running. So, you know, for RHG, with Timotej Antonovsky out of the race, with Thibaut Kazamon effectively out of this battle in the top lot, unfortunately, as much as they might well win this race, they ain't moving through to that showdown.
No, it looks like it's going to be a BS competition versus Redline final. Something I did not expect to be seeing, and something I really didn't expect to be seeing was someone like Ferris Stanley being the driver dragging that team along. And by dragging, I mean performing at an outstanding level. Does not look out of place running alongside the likes of Shinchik and Enzo Benito. So I think that gives them every chance, especially with the slipstream of this car, the nature of this circuit. That could be the defining factor. Of course, we know Redline have been so strong today, but I still think it could be a 3-race final.
Just want to clarify something as well, because there's some people that might be a little bit of confusion as we're watching, because yesterday there was quite a few drive-throughs.
So you explain.
There was quite a few drive-throughs yesterday, as we'll see Ferris Stanley try and make his way past Enzo Benito. This is going to be a little bit of a hip check through this. We'll talk our way through this, and I'll try and explain exactly what has been going on. So that is the BS competition car getting past Enzo Benito, knocking him down another peg to 3rd position at the moment, as Ferris Stanley's looking to go for the race win and assist his team in a potential pursuit of a showdown finish later on today as they head through the first corner. Very quickly to talk about them. Yesterday we had some drive-through penalties that were removed after a jump start in a rolling start in ACC. Now, the reason why those are sometimes removed by SimGrid is because they're not really, the in-game penalties are a bit rubbish when it comes to that. Whereas on this, with it being a standard start, it is a yes or no. It is it's clear to a driver as to when you can go and when you can't go. But if you're breaking that, it's a much more obvious fault, and that is why the penalty will not be removed in rFactor 2, but why it was removed in ACC. You can see Thibaut Kazamon. He's gone 5 laps without serving it, and that is a DQ. Goodbye, RHG.
Yep, see you later. See you tomorrow. Unfortunately, that is not going to be a good day in the office for them. Ultimately, they're going to not make the final, which I think they probably feel that they would deserve in terms of raw pace. But yeah, you make a mistake with a jump start. That will render that useless, unfortunately. And look at this cluster of 5 cars. You just can't get away from anyone really here. If you play it cleverly, you cannot get away. So a 2-team final, 6 cars on the grid. That is going to be sensational. Make sure that you do indeed get your tweets out there at VCO Esports, hashtag VCOERL as well. Again, we've got some cool graphics where you get your face put up on the screen. So it'd be nice to indeed hear some opinions potentially. Maybe let us know who you're supporting, or maybe let us know how you are indeed watching. 1 lap to go. Ferris Stanley, can he do it? Can he provide us with a bit of magic here and potentially take the race victory?
Yeah, he's going to be very close here for a dive into turn 1. Is he going for it early on the brakes? Is Marcel Cinchik. Ferris Stanley's not fancying going for it. He was quite close to the attempt. Everyone picking slightly different braking points into T1. It's one of those things about that first corner is it can be very difficult to work out that exact braking margin. You know, some are a little early and then they carry the speed through the corner. Some are a little bit late and they really halt it up to that apex. It's very interesting to see as we'll head down towards turn 4. No switches this lap. I think we're going to have a big drag race up towards the line though.
Yeah, I think so, but the start-finish line comes a little bit too soon. So I think if you're in a lead here, you're golden. Although we have seen Marcel Cinchik specifically make a move. Now, if you get a good exit in the lead, I think you're golden. I think you're good. If you make a mistake, of course, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable. Yeah, I don't think there's a long enough run there. But we will find out. Enzo Benito Kevin Siggy having Marco Pajic for company. And he's got the overlap here. Has to be left the room. It's now going to force Kevin Siggy to be a bit wider. Ultimately can get the power down a little bit earlier as well. Plenty of room to maneuver around this circuit here in Brazil. Now Marco Pajic runs a little bit wide, trying to open up the power a little bit earlier himself, but actually dropped a bit further back. Got a couple of corners to go here, Lewis. Oh, enjoy. Yeah,
let's see if we're going to get a big old slipstream up towards the line. I think we'll see plenty of this in the showdowns for sure. With the 10-minute race coming to a close, it will be Redline and BS competition as things stand as we head up towards the line. Marcel Cinchik, though, looking to take the victory. Unfortunately, we won't see him further on in this competition, but it is going to be a win for R8G. Ferris Stanley's going to be pretty close as they head up towards the line. It's going to be a drag race. It's going to be very close, but it is, as you said, Marcel Cinchik, the race leader up the hill, is the race leader across the line ahead of Ferris Stanley, Enzo Benito, Siggy, and Marco Pajic. The third team in this, by the way, will end up being, at the moment, before penalties, Veloce, actually, after all things. Unicorns of Love, RHG, and first, the 6 teams in this, in the order of their points on the day. Marcel Cinchik then, victory in this race. Unfortunately, no more R8G further on in this competition, but BS competition, Ferris Stanley, we should be seeing more of them. Same with Enzo Benito, Kevin Siggy, Jeffrey Rietveld, Rainer Talvar, and of course Ibrahim Khan as well. Marco Pajic finishing in 5th position with Michi Tauscher in 7th. Tobias Grunewald in 9th for the Unicorns of Love. 7th and 9th for them on their unfavoured platform. I think it's absolutely great. Isaac Gillison, he had some impressive shows a bit earlier on the day, unfortunately not for him. First, Esports a bit disappointing with 11th, 13th and 14th, but unfortunately I think they got involved in some early drama. They went 3 wide straight across the inside of T1. Gianmarco Fiducci for Veloce, Ibrahim Khan for BS competition, needs to step it up a little bit when they're going through to the showdown. Nick Hoban, Timotei Andonovski retirements for the race, and Thibaut Casabon a disqualification after jumping the race start, not serving the penalty. Welcome back in, Arjuna. And yeah, that was pretty crazy. But BS competition are the team that goes through. Who'd have thought that?
I think we're in for an interesting final now. We'll see if Ferris Stanley can lead the Zebras forward to try and really challenge Team Redline. Going to be a very interesting situation there, but I was really intrigued by how the race played out. Of course, a lot of it dominated by the jump start, Luke, for R8G right off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, Unicorns of Love have been very impressive. Of course, how they were yesterday, how they've really done today. I mean, like you say, they've been very, very impressive. They maybe yes, they're going on to their own very plan. But I kind of agree with you. A little bit of assistance from Apex, but also just the fact of how much they've moved forward, even just as their drivers, how much they've moved forward on rFactor 2. Kind of hoping that maybe something similar will happen. And to be fair, they might actually challenge for that crown.
Not sure if everyone could hear what Luke was saying. I'm sure there was something salient of a point there. I tell you what, we've been continuing to talk about a number of the teams so far today. Let's talk about Arnage and check out their lineup. Well, the good news is 100% of people agreed with that last statement of Luke Crane's. No one will ever know what it was, unfortunately. But Arnage competition.
Point.
Everyone loves it, right? Oh, we couldn't hear it. Finally. Oh, best part of the stream.
I'm sure it was a great point. Carnage competition, as sometimes we have dubbed them. Sometimes unfairly at times, but that pink machine, I think it's fair to say, Lewis, that we always do see them somewhere in and around the action.
Look, I've still not received my T-shirts yet, so I am. I'm going to still call them Carnage.
I got one.
Did you?
Yeah, I got one at the expo.
Did you really?
Yeah, oh, you have no idea what I had to do for it, though.
Furious right now. Oh
it was
my
very
God.
late in the evening. Well, it's early morning, and you have no idea. It was. Oh.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. But no, they are a good team. You know, they're kind of one of these ones that they are spread out across all of the platforms as well. Are they a team that's like a lead team that we expect to be at the front of all these competitions? No, absolutely not. But the thing is they have gone through RL. They have qualified for the ERWC. They do have the potential to improve, and they have the methodology and the focus to just keep trying. They will keep giving it a go, and they have the respect to do it. And I think, you know, and also they're pink, so you know that's a win for me.
Agreed.
I think the one thing, Luke, that I always look at with Arnage competition in particular is the fact that they're not just on these three major platforms, but they're on some of the other platforms as well. You've seen them and commentated on plenty of Arnage in Race Room.
Yeah, 100%. I like. Yeah, they spread across all of the sims and they compete. That's one thing I would say. They compete on all of the sims. Again, they maybe not quite at the sharp end all of the time, but they're always in the finals. Any esports event you see some pink.
Yep. Oh, I think, by the way, we've got the confirmed result. I think it's time to throw some more for this.
There we go. My favourite.
This is Luke's favourite part of the show.
Who are we throwing this time?
First. Oh, actually, no. Start with Veloce because they're above it. Yeah,
again,
fine.
the best one to throw with the shape.
Peace. See ya. Burst.
Burst. See you later.
Bye.
Again, the bubbles burst.
Then R8G.
Again.
No, sorry. Don't worry. Arjuna, you stick to your role.
Okay. Yeah, stick to your role with your dad jacket on. See you later, R8G.
And then Unicorns of Love.
Unicorns of Love.
Peace. Sorry, Arjuna. It's really.
Mwah. So long.
And there we go. Redline BS competition. Beautiful.
We're down to the final two, so I think that's going to be quite intriguing. As we get set for that, don't forget that the best of three showdown has qualifying for race 1, then we invert the top 4 for race number 2, and if we do require the third and final race, we will qualify them again. We've done the segment Guess the Team. It's time to have a little bit more fun and to put Lewis and Luke on the spot as we build together fantasy ERWC rosters.
I think I completely forgot about this bit.
I think this is one where if Luke Crane could, he would just have 5 Enzo Benitos. Unfortunately, Luke, we're not going to let you do that. You get 1 Enzo Benito.
So I've got the English version. I've got Eric Benito.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, what we were going to do here is Luke was going to have 1 pick, then I'm going to have 2, then Luke has 2, then I have 2, and then Luke has 1. And our rules in this, we're just making this up because our juniors sat there being like, have you? We're going with 4 drivers that have taken part in ERL or ERWC, and then the 5th driver is someone who hasn't taken part in the competition that we'd love to see. That would be our super team.
Yep.
So you go first. You have honours, sir.
So we're doing a snake draft. So that means I pick 1, and then Lewis gets 2, then I get 2. Arjuna, you're going to do this as well?
He's a win.
I'll be happy. How are you going to work me into your snake split, though?
Okay, well, we'll just do one, then Lewis do two, then you get two. But if you pick someone that we've already chosen, then obviously you have to pick someone else.
Oh no, but he's not prepared for this. We have prepared for this.
What a shame.
Let's go. Let's
What
do
if
it.
he picks one that I've already picked?
Drum roll. Well, no, he has to choose again. Anyway,
I've
I'm
already
picking. God, it's a tough. Enzo Benito.
Of course he is. I'm going with Dara McCormack and Jamie Fluke.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to go then with Peter Berryman, and I'll go with Alejandro Sanchez. I'll go 2 Apex drivers.
Okay, I go for Marcel Shinjik, and I can't remember who I chose now.
You chose Blyer, mate.
Yeah, Dominic Blyer. That's it.
I know his predictions better than he does.
Yeah, true.
Goodness me. I'm going
It's almost like you got them written down in front of you.
We literally do.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
Tobias Pfeffer was the other one that I was going to go with, and Kevin Siggy.
Plenty of time with quali left. Fine. I'm sorry. Mike's panicking in our ear.
Lewis,
Fine.
why don't you?
It's
Yeah,
more
we got
important.
qualifying's underway, but let's finish the segment.
Yeah,
Lewis, who
yeah.
are your picks again? Sorry.
Again,
Leave us alone, Mike. We know what we're doing.
Pfeffer and Siggy are mine.
Pfeffer and Siggy, you guys are stealing some of those Redline guys that I would have wanted. Okay, so do I get 2 picks now, or am I down to 1?
2 picks.
Okay, so I'll go because I need to get some
hold
people
on.
who are not
You need
iRacing.
to pick one person who's raced in this, and then your final pick is someone that is like a
Oh, mate, you are
dream.
confusing him. Have you seen his face right now?
Wait, I thought I'm picking 5. Am I picking 4 or am I
5
picking
in total.
5?
Sorry,
Five in
4
total.
people who've taken
Okay,
part.
so I'll get
2 more.
So yeah, okay, so 2 more that have competed in ERL events.
Yeah.
I'll go Niels Nayox, so we'll get some ACC in.
Yep.
And neither of you picked Jeffrey Rietveld, so there we
Right.
go. I'm at 4 now.
Good. Okay. Cool.
You have 2 more to go.
Yeah, my final 2. I need to look at it now.
He's got to look at my
James
face.
Baldwin. James Baldwin for sure, and then someone who I would like to see in this, and we spoke to him earlier on, Moritz Loner.
Yeah.
Loner.
Ooh,
My person I
like
want to
that.
see in this, we were kind of discussing this. I mean, I want to see some Porsche action. I want to see the man himself, Josh Rogers. Who do you want to see involved in this, Arjuna?
Well, I was going to say Josh Rogers, and I'll tell you what, I'll
Tough.
skip everyone else on Coanda because that's boring enough. Who would be fun? Yuri Kastorp's one that springs to mind, but I think I'm going to go more
He's very
off-ball.
average size, isn't he?
He is very average sized. But instead of Yuri, I think I'm going to go with the man that may be the most adaptable. I'm going to go with Freddie Rasmussen.
Oh, so that's
Good.
an incredible show.
Great guess. Well, I mean, you need to write all of yours down because we definitely didn't remember that. Because we're about to move into the showdown. Redline versus BS competition. As we can see the journey they've been on through all of this. That final Team Redline BS competition for Veloce, Unicorns of Love, RHG and Burst. Moving Redline and BS competition into the showdown. Qualifying is underway. Let's move to it.
The showdown. Yeah, we got qualifying here, and again, Mike panicking. There's no times posted yet. Cheers, Mike. Yeah, to be fair, he's had a tough day. It's fine. Enzo Benito goes across the line, posts a very quick time of a 35.455. Hasn't shown up on the top left here, but I'm sure the times are going to get faster as the session goes on.
Did you actually know what time he set, or was that just a random guess?
Well, oh yeah, I completely
Oh,
guessed
because
it.
yeah, no, sorry, it's blocked by the belt on my screen. I was very confused.
Yeah, no, I
then.
completely guessed it, mate.
Oh goodness me, that was horrifying. For me, so Jeffrey Rietveld coming out of the pit lane in 3rd position. Now, get enough time for another lap because again, how it works in rFactor 2, they get to just carry on going. So when the timer hits 0, it doesn't matter as long as they've crossed the line. They're allowed to finish the lap that they are on. So an outlap going for Jeffrey Rietveld. Redline 1, 2, and 3. And then BS competition 4, 5, and 6. Well, that's ominous, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. That's not really what BS competition will be looking for, but there's one denominator that we have not really factored in yet because he's not put a time in. Ferris Stanley. Ferris Stanley has been him today. Is there an opportunity to potentially split that Redline team?
Yeah, of course, he has tried for a lap time in the session already, but it was a failed attempt, as we can see Ibrahim Khan coming down into turn 4, again out of the pit lane, so they're all preparing for that final lap. As much as these touring cars, you might go, surely their tyres are good enough for a couple of laps around here, and I can tell you they ain't. Realistically, you want just the one time. I actually remember having driven some of these cars, because of how the tyre model works in rFactor 2, sometimes you want to do the slowest outlap, not brake dragging or any rubbish like that,
Right.
don't worry.
Okay.
But you want a super slow outlap. You don't want to put any work in the tyres. You basically want to come round to start the lap as if you've just come out of the pit lane on those tyres, and then you get the heat basically into them straight away. Perfect.
As someone who's not an rFactor 2 specialist, I appreciate the advice.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't know why I'm giving you advice. You were faster than me the other day. There you go, more second on this. Not in the F3.
Hurts you to say that, doesn't it?
My blood is boiling right now. I'm absolutely, I'm furious today.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be on anyone's roster for anything anytime soon, but it's been a fun weekend.
I'm not going to pop up with you. I'm going straight. Straight back.
No
I'm angry. I'm angry now. Absolutely furious, I might say. So the lap's about to begin here as we watch Ibrahim Khan across the line. Their final lap should all basically be beginning in the next sort of 30 seconds. I don't think many are going to be leaving it until the final. There's no real reason to leave it to that very final moment in the session. I know Ferris Stanley's around this part of the track as we see 1, 2, and 3 ticked off. Pretty tidy, but I mean, in these cars, sometimes tidy's not fast.
There's some lap time by Enzo, by the way. Again, I know I do go over the top with Enzo, but that is an unbelievable lap time. To be nearly 4 tenths clear of someone like Kevin Siggy, to be 4 tenths clear of anybody at this stage, that is absolutely outstanding. And again, he wasn't the fastest Redline driver at the start of the day. The first 2 races, he was almost like the wingman at the back, not the back, but behind the other 2 drivers. And then just suddenly burst into life. What a guy, love him.
I honestly thought you pulled that number completely out of thin air. Genuinely, because it was blocked a little bit. Kevin Siggy's going a bit faster in the first sector, but losing time in that second sector. But he is fastest of all in that first sector. I've got to agree with you. I think that is an incredible lap time for Enzo Benito, because I know how fast Kevin Siggy is in rear-wheel drives touring cars on this platform. He is incredibly fast.
How do you know how fast he is?
Because I've raced on the same grid as him for many years. Many years. As he crosses the line, it's good enough for a slight improvement, but not position-wise, because he loses out to Rietveld, who closes in on Enzo Benito.
Oh, there we go. So there's Rainer Talva. Ibrahim Khan is currently going around the final corner. Doesn't look like he's going very fast here. No, he's good. He's fine.
Second sector's poor, though.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough to get anywhere near the front three, I don't think. What about Ferris Stanley? What's Ferris Stanley up to? Is he doing anything at this point? That's the big worry for everybody here at the BS competition. Well, there is Ferris Stanley.
No, first sector's poor.
Oh, well, no, he could split them, though. Could get up to P3, because he's just shy of 2 tenths off through the first 2 sectors. Has he managed to jump anyone? No, his final sector wasn't good at all.
No, his first sector being 2 tenths off. His second sector was a 1.5 off. And then, that final sector, another 1.5. Poor laps, unfortunately, from BS competition. Leave it as a 1, 2, 3 for Redline. But just because laps in qualifying are one thing, that does not translate into the race. You can, with the slipstream, etc., getting a good race start, you can go on the attack.
Yeah, I will say one thing. Yesterday, it was very difficult for there to be any overtakes. It just seemed like the Imola and the Maserati didn't really go hand in hand together. But today, we've seen plenty of overtakes, and we've seen plenty of overtakes from BS competition. But here is the grid for the showdown. Race number 1, Enzo Benito is in P1. We've got Jeffrey Rietveld in P2, Kevin Siggy in P3. It is a top 3 for Redline. And then we've got Ibrahim Khan for BS competition, Rainer Talva and Ferris Stanley, all for BS competition. It is the final. There's only 6 cars, so ultimately qualifying doesn't mean as much. But you don't really want to see 3 cars ahead of you, especially if they've got Redline written on the side of them.
Yeah, but according to Moritz Loner, it's very important around here. So, no, obviously, I'm just joking. Don't worry. In this kind of, I think if you have the pace to win and you don't qualify, you can get up 6th. You can still win in a 6th-car race. You can absolutely still win
with this combination. I think specifically,
absolutely, yeah. If it was yesterday with the GT4s around Imola, I think you don't really have a chance. But around here, you can absolutely go on the attack and do something about it. And I think BS competition I think they'll hold with Redline. But if I were going to give you a prediction right now, I think we're done in 2.
Oh,
I don't think we need the third race. Redline are so strong.
I think we're going to go for 3 races because I want to see it. We've had some issues today with connection and stuff. I want to send off with an incredible final. Hopefully it's nice and clean. Hopefully everybody gives their absolute all. Again, apologies to anyone at home, with the issues we've had. It's something that the whole building's had, so not really in our control. But hopefully this final makes up for it.
We've soldiered our way through, and like you say, fingers crossed we'll see some good racing action. We've seen some pretty decent bits. We've seen a lot of chopping and changing in the racing that we have seen today, and I think the showdown, like I say, we need to see something very special from BS competition. But if there's a team that can do it, it is them. Let's go to the grid.
Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the showdown for rFactor 2 in the ERWC II finals. Redline versus BS competition. Enzo Benito on pole position, and we do go green light racing here as we head down towards turn number 1. at Interlagos. And again, it is like the red arrows, isn't it? They are in formation. The front three are indeed Redline. You can see Ibrahim Khan's trying to indeed upset the Cuckoo's Nest, but it's not quite going to work out, although there's a slight mistake there from Kevin Siggy, and can Khan take full advantage? He can. Round the outside he goes. I'll tell you what, maybe, just maybe there's a chance here for BS.
Yeah, the big hope for them right now is to get 2 cars into 3rd and 4th, and at least, hope for that reverse grid. But at the moment, as we can see, Ferris Stanley making his way through. I think there's a couple of moments up ahead.
Yeah, he's done it. So the BS competition have already made 2 overtakes here. Kevin Siggy's flashing the lights. Not sure there was a lot wrong done there, if I'm completely honest. But, it is racing after all. They're always going to be pretty upset when they lose a position, especially at this level. But what can BS do then? They have to now.
Whoa!
I'll tell you what, there's a send, and Ibrahim Khan is trying to get this done sooner rather than later. We'll be side by side through the middle sector here, then between Jeffrey Rietveld and Ibrahim Khan. And Rietveld's almost got to play rear gunner here as well, try and help Enzo Benito drive away. That P1 is the key position.
Ibrahim Khan and Ferris Stanley have been teammates before they joined BS Competition. They're doing wonders at the moment for the BS Competition brand at the moment as they're going on the attack of Jeffrey Rietveld. That was a proper attempt from Ibrahim Khan. And really importantly for us, at the end of the very first lap here, they are all super close as they head up towards the line. Enzo Benito's breaking away, but that slipstream will drag him back into it. Ibrahim Khan had a look through the final corner as we head up to complete the first lap. I think we have got a proper race on here, Luke.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, the race is a little bit shorter than we've had previously. It's 8 minutes per race now. Again, the top 4 will be reversed for race number 2 in terms of our starting order. If it goes to a 3rd race, it will indeed be another qualifying session to sort our grid. As Enzo Benito makes a bit of a mess there of turn number 1. Hasn't lost too much time. And Siggy's gone once again here, down to P6. A bit of contact then between him and Rainer Talver. And wow, Kevin Siggy not having a good day at all. As we head then down towards turn number 4. The BS competition team are doing what they need to do right now. And as you can see there, that's very clever from Ferris Stanley. He went over across to help Rainer Talver have a bit of toe through this looping left-hander. And I'll tell you what, Siggy is going to make this move stick. That's a brilliant move. So it's not been the greatest of races so far, but Kevin Siggy's still showcasing his very particular skill set.
Yeah, Rainer Talver was basically just going to try and slow Kevin Siggy down a little bit here and stop him from getting back involved in the mix and a potential chance of the reverse grid pole. Again, the top 4 reversed after this. I will say, even though they're about half a second off the rear end of that train, they absolutely will join it if there is no fighting from behind. Kevin Siggy's fast enough to join it for sure, but also because the slipstream that's given out is plenty enough. Ibrahim Khan keeping in tow with Jeff Rietveld and Enzo Benito. 5 minutes left to go in the race, so there'll be around 3 laps in this one left to go. I think probably about 5 laps with 8 minutes on the clock throughout the entirety of this race. On that race start, genuinely, hand on heart, I thought Redline had done it. I thought it was done. It was over. Even that early. Obviously, BS competition absolutely have the pace, as we can see into the eyes of everyone except Jeffrey Rietveld in second.
Yeah, Jeffrey Rietveld is there, as you can see, very closely up behind. Yeah, I've been telling them to do some crazy camera angles, but that's not what I wanted to see. I tell you what, though, Enzo Benito, it looks like he's almost letting Rietveld go through. And this might, in turn, open up an opportunity, as we've now got a best lap time from Ibrahim Khan. Bit of door banging between Enzo Benito and Khan as we come through turn 3, down now towards turn number 4. We'll have that slipstream, and Enzo Benito, again, is going to have to play rear gunner here. He will move over, but the overlap's already there. So this is an opportunity now for Khan. As we head down towards turn number 4, can he get it done?
Yep, he's got there. He's looking down the inside. He's going to send it on the brakes, but Benito's going to try and do what Siggy did earlier on. There's a bit of hip jacks between the two of them, but Khan, the Flying Scotsman's got down the inside as they head through 4 and 5, running up the hill towards the double apex right-hander. Again, more door banging between the two. This is fantastic racing. Benito's able to hang on. Absolutely superb. These two at the edge of their absolute limits, and another big send from Khan.
Oh, it's a big send. It is contact. He's up on 2 wheels. Benito needs to have the room left for him there. I think that he's gone from perfect racing now to too aggressive for me. BS competition have to do it. They have to make this mixy, and actually the door now has been opened up for Ferris Stanley, and Enzo Benito has just cleaned out Ibrahim Khan. That will have to be looked at. We need to see a replay from a different angle there for sure. The one driver that's not too worried about this is Rietveld. Rietveld's been given the breathing room to disappear, but that got very fruity indeed.
Yeah, unfortunately we're unable to bring you replays at the moment, but I'm not sure about that one. I think Benito, like I say, I think the first bit absolutely was Khan going a little bit over the line, but the second bit was Benito going over the line, potentially even further than what Khan did at the moment in the reverse grid. It would be a front row lockout for Redline once again, but they're trying to do something about getting through into a 1-2. Enzo Benito attacking Ferris Stanley, who's locking up into that first corner. Of course, they've still got Rainer Talvar in this battle of the BS competition. If there are penalties dished out, they can still win the first showdown here.
Yeah, 100%, and now it's really a big job from Kevin Siggy. Kevin Siggy has to keep Rainer Talvar in P5, I think. Again, if there is the potential of a penalty, then, well, Redline could find themselves in a bit of trouble. But as it stands, they have got first and third, which is 4 points. There's an absolute send again from, well, it's Rainer Talvar. So Rainer Talvar making a move on Siggy. Siggy's going to be furious with that as well. Actually, he's gone for the old, as Crofty would say, swapperoo. Not quite going to work out. Rainer Talvar does gain a position. And I tell you what, we want in a showdown. This is an absolute showdown. Yes, it might be over the limit, but I am loving every second of it.
Yeah, see, I don't think that move from Rainer Talvar was too much. Let's see if the one from Siggy gets to the inside. No, absolutely perfect space given, but the dive wasn't too aggressive. I think quite a lot of the race we've seen, it's proper touring car racing, but I don't think it's, I mean, touring car's still a non-contact sport, but at the same time, it is a contact sport.
I'd be giving no penalties to this race, in my honest opinion. I think the battle between Stanley and Benito, they both went over the limit. With each other. Khan and Benito both went over the limit, and it got progressively more aggressive as the move went on. I wish it stayed clean the whole way round, but yeah, I think both of them really are at fault for that.
Yeah, the Benito one on Khan, I'm a little bit more questionable of. I think that one might have been a little bit too far, but again, we'll have to wait and see.
Are we looking at what happened after it?
I'm looking at it just as an instant.
Okay,
just as a single incident. Just as that one.
The outcome is, I was just wondering if the outcome might be clouding what we saw. I don't know. Again, we've only seen it once, so we hardly know what we're talking about the best of times.
That's true.
Oh, hello.
That's potentially a bit over the line, and that is Rainer Talvar gone on. Was he squeezed, or did he go for a gap that really wasn't there? That's the question. As BS competition dropped down to 5th, I don't really know what I'd do about that one.
Rainer Talvar initiated contact there.
I agree.
He just went over the limit himself, I think. Unfortunately, got a load of oversteer and just wasn't able to catch it in. Rainer Talvar's 2023 goes from bad to worse, really, if we're going to be honest. He's not had the greatest of starts, and at some point it will go right. Maybe the next race, you've got another opportunity in the next one.
Yeah, I think looking down the inside into a corner where it just was never, ever really going to work. So, unfortunate there. What did BS competition do here? Does Ferris Stanley go, right, I'm in second, let's play the game. Let's drop back to 4th. Because Redline have already won. Maybe there might be some horrendous penalties to Redline, but let's be honest, I kind of doubt it. If I'm Ferris Stanley, I'm thinking about it now. Is there a way that I can drop back to 4th and have the pole position for the next race? Because if not, I mean, we're starting 3rd, 5th and 6th.
They're all going to be talking, and you assume that Khan's going to be like, well, there's definitely going to be a penalty. As well, we've got penalty points up here, and it's 1 point each. So as it stands, I think Redline are golden here. They're going to take the first spoils. We're about to come across the line, and it will be the final lap of the race. Jeffrey Rietveld does take that checkered flag. It will be 1-0 to Redline, and the best thing for them is that they actually will start first and second also for race number 2. The BS competition have got all the work to do in the world. And yes, I agree with that. 1 penalty point each. I think they were both very aggressive with each other. And for me, it's kind of a no further action. But yeah, there was 2 incidents. There was 2 penalty points, but Redline take first blood.
I think you want to stamp out some of the little bit too much stuff. But then I also agree. I think they both gave as good as they got. What do you think?
It wasn't the same as yesterday, right?
No.
There wasn't on that aggression level.
No,
so we want to see
not.
them fight. Ultimately, there's money on the line. There's pride on the line. There's points on the line. But within reason, I think that was pretty good as a spectacle. Yeah. Sorry, Arjuna.
No, I was just going to say that it was I'm pleasantly surprised to see how much BS competition were willing to put up a fight. I kind of thought that we'd be done in 2 and out of here in short order. And even though Redline are going to start 1 and 2 in this reverse top 4, Luke, I still feel like BS competition are going to be pushing, and there's no guarantee this is going to be done in Showdown race number 2.
Yeah, 100% agree. And again, Rainer Talvar, it was him trying to make a move. It's him trying to be proactive. So again, maybe give him a bit of stick for the year, and it's more, more in jest, to be honest. But the fact that he's trying to be proactive, he's not willing to rest on his laurels, shows that the team are willing to take chances to get the result, which is what we want to see, right? We don't want to see teams just sit back and go, oh, the potential of a penalty. Look, penalties happen in motorsport. And in this format, if you're not taking a chance and maybe you do go over the line, then what's the point of even being here? So yeah, I like to see it.
I think one thing that I'm sure the 3 of us are all hoping for, Lewis, is that we can come across the line at the end of either race 2 or race 3 and know for sure who has won.
Oh, yes.
That is the big thing here. Now, this comes down to two things. Number one, race control, working fast, efficient. We got those penalties there. Team Redline, by the way, have been given an extra penalty point for an issue later on. I think that'll be the turn 2 thing. But I don't believe they're going to get much more than that. It would be 6 points, plays 8 points, which means it would still go the way of Redline, unless they get 2 more penalty points. But I don't think it's doing that much.
No.
I agree. As long as, race control keep going, at least with this kind of efficiency, where we really do know what's going on, and most importantly, the teams keep it pretty clean, then we can end here on a high, whether it is in race 2 or race 3. If they're going to race like that, I want to see a third. Come on, BS Competition.
I think we'd all love to see BS Competition be able to throw that surprise forward. Don't forget, if we do need to go to that third and final race in the showdown, we'll qualify once again. We'll give the opportunity for the drivers to go out and qualifying one more time instead of this top 4 invert that we've got right now. I think the one thing that maybe surprised me more than anything, Luke, was how Kevin Siggy just dropped backwards in a hurry.
Yeah, and you haven't got a lot of time to get yourself back on track, right? So if you make a mistake, it's an 8-minute race. And also, if you're driving on tilt, which is so easy to do, you make more mistakes. We saw Dara do that yesterday, didn't we, with Williams? Yeah. Like, he was not happy. He had every right to be, again, in my opinion. He had every right to be unhappy. And then he was making more mistakes by trying to catch up. And ultimately, that's just not how it works. We saw Kevin flashing his lights, and that's not him going, "Hi, guys, I'm here. How you doing? You all good?" That's him going, "Yeah, I'm not really happy with how you overtook me there." So, yeah, maybe a bit of frustration creeping in, but he'll be very happy with how the team performed. And that's really the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. Of course, do let us know if you're watching along on twitch.tv/VCO Esports or on the YouTube VCO Esports channel who you think is going to win the second showdown race, and if you think rather we are going to need to go to the best of 3 series with the drivers getting locked and loaded one more time. It's been one of those lengthy days as well, Lewis. We've kind of talked about that over the course of the ERL, even with the slightly more condensed format. By no means is it over an hour or so for the drivers. It's physically and mentally demanding as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously some delays have also come on our end as they've kind of tried to hold things up to make sure that we can rejoin. Obviously, again, as Luke said, the technical issues that we've had here are completely out of our control. It's been happening all over the place. It's not just us. It's exactly.
Thing. So the races have actually been going through fine. So none of the drivers have been affected by this. Obviously, it's a shame that the broadcast has been affected by this. But again, hopefully we leave on a really positive note, and the final is incredible. So far, first part has been really good.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all set and sorted for a Barnstory fight. By the way, results are official. Team Redline taking the first win here in the showdown.
Yeah, and hopefully we set ourselves up today nicely to look forward to tomorrow with plenty of optimism. Day 3, of course, on iRacing with that Lotus 79. And don't forget, you can influence where we go racing. 2 tracks will be presented on twitter.com/VCO Esports. Today it was Bahrain as well as Interlagos. It was close. We had to go and do some manual counting to work backwards and figure out that it was Interlagos where we went racing today. Tomorrow, you will be able to choose where we finish up this Esports Racing World Cup. But I think with that all said and done, it's time for me once again to blend off into the background to join those watching in chat as we get set for showdown race number 2. Let's head back to Interlagos.
Love a shout-down.
Oh, I love a shout-down too. Again, sometimes you get criticised on Twitter for having a shout-down, but it is what it is. We move on then to our showdown here. Is it going to be 2 races, or will we go to the third and final and another qualifying session? It's in Redline's hands. They not only won the first round here, but they also now have P1 and P2 at the sharp end. Kevin Siggy, who did not have a particularly good race, is on pole position, and we're still expecting to perform exceptionally well because he's that good.
I'm still like, this is his to win.
Yeah, 100%. Here we go. There's the klaxons. It's a final race here potentially for Redline. Can they get the job done? We are Green Knight Racing once again, and it's not a good start for Ferris Stanley and Jeffrey Rietveld. Wow, it's going to be very similar to race number 1. It's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 Redline, and it is the dream start for them as Ferris Stanley might try and get involved, but unfortunately that opportunity has gone. And wow, this is perfect, right? If Redline had the pen, had the paper to write a script, this is exactly how it would go down.
But this is how it started in the previous race as well. Let's not forget that. And so it doesn't mean that BS Competition are out. Once you get that slipstream working, you're dragged back into the mix. It's one thing that I've noticed from Redline all throughout the day is that their race starts have been significantly significantly better than pretty much anyone else's, and especially BS Competitions. BS Competition have been on the slightly worser end of things on that today. They've not really got to grip with how to start this car. And right now, Redline are showing it by running 1, 2, and 3.
You are right. They are on the worser end of things, which is I love that word.
Thank you. You're
so excited. I love it. We all make words up as commentators.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same as like winningest.
Winningest, the most winningest person of all time of everything.
It's just not a word, even though I know it's in the dictionary.
Oh, okay, so it is a word then.
I know, but it's just not a word.
Okay, cool. Anyway, back to the race. Heading up towards the final couple of corners of lap number 1, and I think you'll find that Jeffrey Rietveld has had the call of team orders. Slow them down, let the two other drivers drive ahead, being Kevin Siggy and Enzo Benito. It's very obvious that's the case right now. He is now going to be as big a nuisance as he possibly can. And again, if it was Enzo Benito in P3 or Kevin Siggy in P3, they would be doing exactly the same. Very similarly for me, like Apex, they're the best in terms of a team environment. They get things done, and this is just an absolute clinic right now.
See how Rietveld didn't follow the slipstream of Benito and Siggy. He didn't follow it because he doesn't want to kind of be given an advantage via them. He wants to, like you say, exactly, slow them down, break the packs up to mean that if eventually Ferris Stanley, Ibrahim Khan and Rainer Tavar do get through, that's fine, but there'll be such a large gap up to the Redline duo at the front. It just simply doesn't matter. You're almost trying to remove the race before it's even happened. Again, strategy masterclass at the moment. I'm disappointed, though, that we've not got a spy cam on Jeffrey, but it's just a very normal camera angle.
Yeah, it's a bit too normal there for Jeffrey. And again, I'll have a word. I think that's very disappointing.
Letterbox cam.
Again, I want one to, like, I said to him that if he's got a fan in his room, have it just off of one of the fins of the fan.
Oh, my God.
Spinning around. I don't know. I've got some ideas anyway. It is what it is. He's more concentrating right now. I'm holding up the zebras as well. One of them slides their way through the middle sector here, but yeah, it's looking good for Redline right now. BS Competition have to take a chance. They have to send one at some point. As much as Rieveld's holding up, he can't really hold them up too much. And actually, the gap really isn't coming out to the front too. So yeah, BS Competition have to make something happen, and they have to make it happen now.
Yeah, I mean, I get the feeling, right, this is not a dig at Ferris Stanley, but if I were the team, I'd almost want Ibrahim Khan to be the one behind him, because, man, is he aggressive. He will go for a move. He will do whatever it takes to get through. We saw it in the previous race. So it's almost, is there something about potentially switching those two, getting Ibrahim Khan right behind them before it's too late to try and go on the attack? Because right now it doesn't seem as though Ferris Stanley is able to do so. You might sit there and think, by the way, oh, those red lines are faster in a straight line than BS Competition. They absolutely aren't, because everyone is on the same setup. It's a fixed setup here on rFactor 2. And so it's all the same for everyone. They're just getting better drives off of that final corner, and they're using that slipstream masterfully. Rietveld just closed back up to his teammate.
Yeah, Kevin Siggy, who hasn't got the toe, just put the fastest lap of the race in, which is absolutely mind-boggling. As much as Rietveld was maybe trying to hold up BS Competition, he's decided now to just creep up onto the back of the front two. And this is just looking like an absolute formality here. Really, the only people that can beat Redline are themselves at this stage.
And what do I've said this before in commentary plenty of times. It's not something that I think will go the way of Redline, certainly not in an 8-minute race. But one of the biggest enemies when it comes to racing isn't being under pressure. Everyone's like, oh, they're keeping you under pressure, they're going to crack or whatever. These drivers, they simply just do not crack. Not really, not for the most part. As Ferris Stanley gets to the inside of Jeff Rietveld, not really a corner where you want to do so. That's allowed him to switch drivers as Ibrahim Khan comes through. But it's not pressure that's the problem, it's complacency. Well, I think Redline, they're not going to be complacent anymore. They're going to be eyes focused on the race, because that was a proper warning shot sent by BS Competition.
Yeah, some sent there, and it's naughty. I think if that's the potential for a penalty there, which again would render BS Competition's day over. It's been a good day for them, though. P2, I didn't expect to see that. Although, as you can see, Ibrahim Khan has got the slipstream. There's a bit of a gap formed out between P3 and P2, meaning that, well, as I'm saying that, over the crest they go, and Rietveld then just pulls away. So he does have that toe of the two cars in front, and there's only so fast you can go in a toe, by the way. Like, you know, you can't just have the 9th car of a train. As we see an absolute send there. Rietveld will close the door. There is a touch between the two of them. It's still not going to work out. And you're right, Ibrahim Khan has got that aggression level. And ultimately, I don't blame him. He has to send it now. He has to try and get something done. But this is actually pretty perfect for Rietveld. As much as them being behind him's a great thing, him battling with them is just going to slow them down as a group. Again, he doesn't care where he finishes. He's just worried about his front two boys being P1, P2. Job done. Bit of cash. Tie the championship up. Moving on to iRacing, where they're probably even stronger. Good day in the office.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'd still say they're probably stronger on this. I think they are, like, particularly these three, Benito, Rietveld, and Siggy. Regardless, they're incredible.
We've
But
also
BS
got a PES champion to come in tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot.
Yeah,
I
so
forgot
that was my
Diogo was
thinking on
joining.
that.
I still
They've
maintain.
leveled up.
I still maintain these three on this platform right now. I mean, regardless, they are both incredible. It's madness. It's why they were targeting these 2 days rather than the ACC day that we had yesterday. Up onto two wheels goes Jeffrey Rietveld. Is Ibrahim Khan not really into their bud? I wouldn't give it a go, but he's giving it a look. There's contact between the two and slides galore.
Oh, wow. This is like Colin Turkington versus Dan Camish or something. This is brilliant stuff here. There is some argy-bargy. There is some contact. And they are going to be now side by side as we head up across that start-finish line with 1 lap to go. Yeah, there's going to be 1 lap left of this race. Can the two zebras behind of Ferrastani and Reina Talva also follow through and potentially close up to the front two? I think the gap's too big anyway. Jeffrey Rietveld is going to make this messy. That's for sure here. You know he's going to go deep under braking and force this to be too wide as long as he possibly can. And actually, can he potentially hold on to this P3? It would actually be mesmeric if he did. And I tell you what, with a little bit of a nudge there. Oh, that's naughty. He is not going to hold on. Oh, dear. Here we go.
Yeah.
And, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a strike.
That is it done. I mean, I've got to say, I think Rietveld was pinched a little bit there, but also the contact that kind of came off, I almost get the feeling it might have been a bit more towards Ibrahim Khan there.
I think initially he's run too deep. He's run too deep there. It's Jeffrey Rietveld, yeah. So I think that will be the initial contact, what's caused that whole melee. As the front two, by the way, are doing a little bit of rallycross. They're off into the dirt. They're not too worried about what's happening behind them, and it's going to take some penalty right now to stop Redline from making this a win from 2 races.
It needs to be a penalty worth 4 points, which, as much as that stuff was all madness, I don't believe it's going to be a 4-point penalty. We did ask, if they could get through this race and then we could know who's going to win as they cross the line. I think we can see them coming up towards the line now and be 99% sure.
Yeah, 99.9999% sure. The team Redline are going to take the victory. They've got 1 corner to go. Kevin Siggy, Enzo Benito. Kevin Siggy did not have a good first race, but he's actually going to end up winning the second race, and that's just going to show the strength of Redline. They've got 3 drivers that are capable of winning at any one time. Kevin Siggy will bring them across the line. He will pick up a victory. Benito is going to push him across the line as well. Team Redline are going to take victory here on rFactor 2 in the ERWC II. Day 2 final, and they're going to tie the championship lead with Unicorns of Love, taking us into the iRacing day tomorrow. Incredible stuff here, but Redline are dominating once again.
That was just a classic clinical performance. You said it right earlier on. I mean, that they just are the absolute best on this platform at the moment, and I'm very concerned with how they're going to do tomorrow, because they're just looking absolutely brutally strong. It's why we've come into this, and it's why Redline were the favourites, because on days like this, that favourite bias, for some teams it adds a lot of weight onto their shoulders. On a lot of others, it makes you, they don't really care. They're just
I'll tell you what, do you know what? Fair play to BS right now, because they are smiling as well. So they've enjoyed that. They've given it everything. They know that Redline are, the big dogs around town. They've made it to a final, which has surprised many. I'll tell you one person that hasn't surprised, it's Florian Hasper. He's been saying all weekend that they're going to be a surprise this weekend. I'll give it credit where it's due. He did predict that. But they've just come up short here. But they are smiling. They have given it everything. They've given us a showdown. But it is going to be Redline that take the victory.
Well,
that's
hello,
the shortest
guys.
video of all time of Redline winning, by the way.
done in 2 instead of 3. We can at least get the day over a little bit quicker and work our way through a bit of a rest, I'm sure. Interesting final. I think, Luke, you said it right. Florian Hasper saying that BS Competition were going to be one of the teams that surprised us. They'll end this day 3rd in point, but at the very top, with Redline winning on rFactor 2, it is now tied between the Unicorns of Love and Team Redline going into the final day tomorrow on iRacing.
And if you offer that to both those teams, Redline be leading, tied, or whatever, going into Sunday, they would have taken it. You offer that to Unicorns of Love, they would have snapped your hand off. They're already off to the disco as we speak.
Pop World.
Lewis,
Pop World.
Lewis, in your mind, I think we talked about it before. It's great to actually come across the line and have no doubts about and no need to go to race control to figure out who actually comes out on top.
Yeah, mostly no doubts. Obviously, like we're pretty much 99% sure. It's just that final lap incident where we've got to deal with it. He's straight on it. Boom.
See ya.
They're gone. Oh, so that one goes really well as well. We've made such a mess. We haven't even cleaned it up yet.
No, that's true.
So, sorry to just make it a total mess. No, I think they have been cleaned up, but not by us.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
Laura, you legend.
We're so bad. It's gone green on my screen. No penalty points have been dished out as expected. I think that's honestly totally fair.
Yeah.
And Redline, they're on top.
We get to see Enzo on screen.
Unfortunately, you don't get to talk to him. I'll get to talk to him. So I tell you what, not sure if we're ready to go down and speak with our winners, but let's see if we can drag them on in one by one. And let's start with Enzo Benito, the man that's going to have to drive across 3 different platforms. Enzo, you've made Luke Crane a very happy man by taking Redline back to the top. And you guys looked very strong over the course of the day. How much of a relief was it for you guys to be back in a simulator where you feel very comfortable?
It was amazing. Yeah, not too sure what happened yesterday, but today was great. Well, we tried. I mean, we always try on ACC. For some reason, we think we are quick. We work our ass off, and then, yeah. And then we I don't know, we always miss a little bit, but here we just, I think, we did amazing. I mean, our teammates dominated, and yeah, I'm happy to go tomorrow in whatever place we are right now.
Yeah, and I think it's set up quite nicely. You and the Unicorns of Love team's going to be tied on points with tomorrow basically deciding it. And we go to the Lotus 79. I've got to ask, have you ever driven that car before?
Oh, yes, I love it.
Good.
I love it. Absolutely masterclass of a car, yes. I mean, we should be a petition to all, for having an agreement where everyone has to drive Ace Shifter as well, you know, to make it mandatory as well. That would be funny. But yeah, looking forward to it, yeah.
I think that sounds like a lot of fun. In terms of this competition, Enzo, you're one of the few drivers that's bouncing across of all the different platforms. How much fun is it for you to just be able to go across these different cars and these different sims and just go for these short races?
It's great because I think the way the competition is that you know, the tracks only come out just a couple of hours before, and so you actually have the time to practice the tracks if you just switch to the other sim the next day, you know. If the tracks were released a little bit before, I think I would have been in a bit more trouble, but for the guys that are doing all the 3 sims and the tracks releasing on a midday just before the races is awesome, because you just go there, you practice, and then you're ready, you know. So not too stressed. I love the combos so far, all of them, and yeah, I'm happy.
We'll see what the combo is tomorrow. We'll see you back on track. We'll head on over to your teammates, though, because unfortunately we are not going to see Jeffrey Rietveld or Kevin Siggy driving tomorrow, and we'll have a quick chat with Jeffrey Rietveld with 2 days done in this Esports Racing World Cup. On top, on rFactor 2, Jeffrey, yesterday, of course, a slightly different day. Talk us through the 2 days of competition that you've had in this ERWC.
Yeah, so yesterday, ACC, I mean, everyone knows in the sim racing world that it isn't our best platform, so I mean, we were hoping still to get into the final yesterday, but just barely missed out with a P4. And then today, coming into rFactor, I mean, yeah, we all know we are quick here, and I think in the end I'm quite happy it was Interlagos and not Bahrain, to be honest with you. So.
One thing that Lewis McLeod picked up watching those races was that you guys seem to be very, very good at getting these cars off the line. Of course, not the traditional touring cars, in that these are rear-wheel drive rather than the front-wheel drive. What did you guys figure out that helped you get off the line so effectively?
We will keep that a secret, I guess. Let's not make the enemies any smarter.
I gave it a good old college try. You'll be watching on tomorrow, though. Your 2 days of competition are done. How's it going to be different for you watching and cheering your teammates on in that Lotus 79?
I mean, the lineup we have in iRacing is, I would say, just as good as we would have for rFactor. So I have a lot of confidence in the guys that they can finish the job tomorrow, and hopefully, yeah, we can be crowned champions again, just like last time.
It helps when you got Diogo Pinto coming in to bolster your lineup, that's for sure. Congratulations on 2 great days, Jeffrey. We'll see if your team is successful tomorrow. We'll head our way on over rather than to Kevin Siggy and talk with him as he's wrapped up his ERWC campaign as well. Kevin, a great day, of course, here with the victory. Yesterday of difficult. We've talked to your teammates already about that. In your reflection, though, across the 2 different platforms, what are you giving yourself out of 10?
Probably like a 3 or something, I don't know even, because my qualies were just appalling, apart from today's first quali, and then the rest was just going downhill really. Especially in ACC, I mean, I'm starting to really despise that sim, and we just can't figure it out in in that regard with setups with Jason's and everything. So I mean, it's quite hard to really get on that sim and be fast. So I mean, we can sort of take away P4, even though we got kind of stolen that as well for some bloody reason. But, I mean, at least we made it up today. So I mean, we should be happy about that.
In terms of the two cars that we've had as well, these are slightly different. GT4 yesterday with no ABS and traction control over to a rear-wheel drive touring car machine. These are platforms that you have some experience with, but from your perspective as a driver, how do you get to learn these cars a little bit more, especially with limited practice time at the tracks that we'll go racing at?
Quite funny. I mean, the tracks, they should be fairly easy to figure out, but in terms of these BDCC cars, I was sort of driving already in LFM in low fuel motorsport with Chris Lollam a little bit, so we just kind of had a little bit of fun with those cars, so we kind of learned them as well, and we know how they sort of react to setup changes already, so it wasn't really that difficult for me to learn this car, but anything on rFactor I tried to learn and be fastest in, because obviously that's my best sim, so it wasn't really too difficult. I'd much rather want Bahrain, but obviously with that issue with the voting, we couldn't really go on the track. I think it would have been even more fun, but yeah, I mean, for me it wasn't really that difficult to learn, especially neither it was for Jeffrey or Enzo. I mean, they both made had good pace, and we just kind of slapped them really.
I think next time you're not seeing the track vote go the way you want it, just remember, go ask Max Verstappen to retweet it, and we know exactly the way that the track vote's going to go. You gave yourself a 3 out of 10. I think you're being slightly harsh on yourself, Kevin. Victory here today on rFactor 2, and we'll see Redline in action tomorrow again. Congratulations, and we'll see you later this year in the ERL.
Thank you, guys.
It's going to wrap up our post-race interviews. Great to chat with all 3 of the Redline drivers. Sorry, Luke, I know you only got to look at Enzo Benito rather than actually get to talk to him as well. But you've got one final magnet to yeet off the board.
Yeah,
and it went straight to Laura.
Yeah, sorry.
Literally,
sorry, Laura.
Goodness me, your aim's
terrible
terrible, mate. Yeah, bye. That's it. We've got an empty board now, ready. The clean slate for tomorrow.
Oh, love it. Yeah.
We'll take
the winners.
Oh yeah,
we'll take a look at the bracket, and then we'll grab a look at the standings as well, because I think that's where we can get excited about what we're set up for tomorrow, Lewis. The fact that Unicorns of Love and Team Redline go into the final day of this World Cup tied on 21 points, BS competition 3 points further back as well. So I think there's a lot of excitement about what the Lotus 79 will bring in terms of surprises over on iRacing.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll be able to show you standings again, technical stuff behind the scenes. I think it's kind of, I think that's fair.
We know the Unicorns of Love and Redline are tied.
Exactly.
They finished in the reverse order as they did yesterday. So that is exciting. Unicorns of Love, fair bloody play to them. Again, they've come out as, they were the underdogs, as Rene said earlier on, and now they're top going into iRacing. Here are the MVD standings as well. They've just disappeared quicker before. There we go. They're back up there. Enzo Benito and P4.
Fourth.
I've got no favourites or anything, but come on, Enzo.
Well, the thing is, the thing is about Enzo Benito being in 4th is that Blyer, Richter and McCoy, based on what he was saying about how much he loves that car, he's going to be a shoo-in to once again absolutely go for it. We will be able to get points.
Mike's just taking the piss out of us at this point. He's like, maybe we have, maybe we don't. We're just going to guess tomorrow, guys.
Your calculation's pretty good. Unicorns Love Team Redline. Again, it's not a hard calculation to make. They are joint at the top of the standings. BS competition as well in tow. Triton Racing in 4th position, joint with R8G. Veloce in 6th. Before we get to Williams, Burst, YAS HEAT, the Apex Racing team, who should also go quite well tomorrow. And unfortunately, Fordzilla and Arnage competition down at the bottom of the standings. But with it being so close in the points, Arjuna, only 1 point per position, it's kind of open for anyone to jump in. If Redline have a mare in the opening heats and they have a similar problem, which you can absolutely have in that car, a little bit of contact, you're gone. Bit of bad luck. I mean, if you had that in 2 consecutive races, you're out.
I think you're trying to hype something up that is not going to come to fall.
Potential.
I think Redline... There's the potential, but Redlines should and will be the favorites tomorrow with Chris Lollam, Diogo Pinto, the 2022 Porsche Esports Super Cup champion, as well as Enzo Benito. That is about as star-studded as you can get. Final goodbyes before we get done for the night and we focus in on tomorrow. It's time to really get I think, predictions working here. We'll start with Mystic Lewis, then we'll go to Luke, and I will chime in as well. Who wins the World Cup after one more day of racing tomorrow, Lewis?
This list.
Well, yes, but I...
Just saying.
Yes, so who's at the top? Who's at the top?
Who do you think? Redline,
What?
of course it
You got to
is.
tell us.
Of course it's Redline. Of course it's Redline. Redline, surely they've got to win.
Yeah, cool.
You?
Yeah, Redline.
Yeah, cool.
I'm off to the bar. See you later. See you later, Arjuna.
There we go.
He's deadly
3 for 3 for
serious
Team
as well.
Redline.
See you, Luke.
Lewis.
He's gone.
Lewis and Luke will head off to the bar and will celebrate at Simply Race with one more day of competition still left to go. Don't forget, same time, same place, here on VCO Esports at 7 p.m. CET. We'll go tomorrow for the final day of the Esports Racing World Cup 2023. On behalf of the team at Simply Race, for VCO, and for Lewis McLeod, for Luke Cran, and myself, Arjuna Kenki Party, thank you for sticking through us through the course of this day. We'll see you tomorrow to crown your world champions.